Hello, everyone. Before we get started on this week's episode, just a quick word that YouTube, in all its infinite wisdom, has decided that some of the Die Party games are now not suitable for advertising. It doesn't mean a whole lot for the content. I'm not going to censor the videos in any way, but if you'd like to lend your support so that Die Party can continue to grow, please check out the Patreon or subscribe on the Twitch channel. Enjoy the episode. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Die Party Abyss, a customized Hollow Earth expedition role-playing experience right here on Twitch. It's been about a week since we saw everyone, so let's go around and introduce everyone before we get started. Let's start off with Mr. Drummer Boy himself. What up, sir? How you doing? How's your week been?
Doing good. Got a whole bunch of stuff done. My family is out here from Ontario, and I'm not a new uncle, but my brother and his wife just had their second child today.
Oh.
So this morning. Yeah, little Asher. So
Now, I gotta ask, is that one of those weird things where, like, no one gets excited as much as the first child?
no, it's just like the family's out here. I had stuff to do today, and then I'll go see them tomorrow. Like my brother's wife did the surgery, like the C-section.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not really down to see anyone for a few days.
Oh, I get it. That was a good pun.
Cut open.
I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed the pun you just presented. That was nice. She didn't want to see anyone because C-section. Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations are in order, I guess. So what have you been working on in terms of music?
I got a thing done for my friend who does an IRL D&D group, and they wanted a big heroic 2 Steps from Hell style track for their party. So I did that. I'm working with a website called Twitch Temple doing custom alert sounds. So I just finished up my first pack this week. That will be eventually. I don't know when. And they do like custom alerts and like stuff you can import to Streamlabs. And if you don't want to pay someone to do your own stuff, they have like a whole bunch of pre-made ones that you can use. So it's good for like new streamers and affiliates and stuff like that.
And affiliates.
Yeah, well, like,
affiliates.
dude, I'm affiliate. Damn you. But like, I got that sub button, and I don't have anything cool no cool graphics happen when someone subs to me. So that's like a solution for people that can't pay people to make cool shit like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then tomorrow morning I'll be starting on my next Patreon tune, which is Witcher inspired because I've been playing Witcher. So it's gonna be like Slavic.
Is it lots of la 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 la?
No, it's gonna be more.
Oh,
more like
you haven't got to the third one yet. Okay.
No, it's gonna be more low, so like a lot of frame drums and like a lot of hurdy-gurdy and weird squeechy strings and stuff like that. It's gonna be good.
Nice, awesome.
Those are all technical terms, by the way, for those of you playing along at home. Squeegee strings and hurdy-gurdy, they're the real things.
Hurdy-gurdy is a real thing.
Yeah, I know, but it sounds ridiculous.
I know. It's better than the nickel harpa, which is also a real thing.
Hurdy-dirty. Speaking about hurdy-dirty, let's go over to Mr. I can't afford lights in my house, Sheepdog Gaming. What up,
I
sir?
can afford lights. They just go out all the fucking time.
Well, you don't buy like a pack of like 12 lights and just be like, done.
Well, yeah, but then, you know, when your lights go out all the time, you then run out of those 12 light bulbs and you have to get more.
I've changed my light bulbs once in this house and I've lived here for 2 years.
Maybe you're just not using your lights enough. You ever think about that? Get my back, man. It's...
So, what have you been up to, man? What have you been doing?
Playing a lot of Total War Warhammer 2.
Still on that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good game. I fucked it up massively. I got cornered. My entire army got destroyed. I ruined the entire series and I had to start again. That happened today. I'm happy.
Well, I mean, just think of all the new content you'll have.
Well, it's not new content. I'm going over the exact same thing I just did. So I'm going to lose people who are like, oh man, fucking.
Just spend the next 24 hours playing until you get to the same point. Done.
I mean, I would, but I've got to be here doing this, so.
Oh no. What else have you been playing? Anything else, or you just been doing that shit?
Judgment Ass.
What?
Judgment Apocalypse Survival Simulation. It spells ass, so I call it Judgment Ass.
Okay. What is that? I've never heard of that.
It's kind of like RimWorld, except for set in a demon apocalypse.
Now, what makes a demon apocalypse an apocalypse? Do people get taken over by demons?
Well, no, demons are pretty much like coming out of gates and attacking and killing everyone. Most people are dead, and there are a few survivors. You run like a survivor colony, and every now
Exorcist, more Doom.
More Doom, yeah. Like flame imps and.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say like more Doom, like demon invasion in progress. Countdown timer or something like that.
It's a little bit like that. Like, you know, you get waves of enemies coming at you every now and then. The more survivors you have, the more often they come. And yeah, I've got no idea how to play the game. It's interesting. It's fun. It's a lot like RimWorld.
I'm looking at it now. It kind of looks interesting. Like
graphics aren't amazing. Gameplay is pretty fun. I think it's an early access. But
it is. Released. Yeah.
It's being released like early 2018, so.
Oh, well, that's not bad, I guess.
I keep saying at the start of all my videos now when I receive a key, I'm like, by the way, guys, apparently now I have to say that this is an ad because receiving keys is ads. I'll put the link in the description and all that. I always forget to put the link in the description.
Ah, fuck them. They can Google it. They're not that lazy, are they?
It's not that fucking hard to find the
I
game.
Googled it. I just written Judgment Ass, and it came up. So, like...
It's ass! A-S-S, not A-R-S-E.
That's literally just how we say it.
Yeah. Alright. Cool. Well,
Oh, and Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, yeah. How is that?
It runs actually really quite well. I'm surprised at how well it runs. I mean, like I've recorded a few videos. I'm going to see how it does on my channel, but basically in the first 30 minutes, you're randomly introduced to a girl that screams romantic interest that will die, and she just basically like, "Hey, I'm an attractive woman," and then she runs off, and you have to chase her.
What's that got to do with the new? What's that got to do with the new ring?
Huh? Oh, like literally, you lose the ring immediately, and it's like
don't lose it. Oops.
as soon as you start the game, you lose the ring for some reason. I won't go into that, but you lose the ring, and the ghost wraith friend man is like, "Well, now we've lost all our powers," and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's how you're gonna do the reset of the. That's how you're gonna do the Batman reset. Cool. It's better than Batman, where they're literally like...
Oh no, I left my utility belt at home. Damn it.
The one time. I might do that.
Time to save the world with the exact plan that I know, and then just like a rock comes in and hits you straight in the forehead. You're like, I don't know my own name.
Amnesia. Okay, just out of curiosity, how would you guys react if I said, all right, you guys got hit by a beam of light that removes all of your upgrades, and now you're back to square one? Would you guys be okay with that? Like, in terms of, like, game mechanic?
I mean...
Graham, I think you muted, by the way. Yeah, he's okay with it.
It wasn't that good of a joke.
We're talking about games.
No, I'm talking about role-playing games. If I hit you with a beam of light and I just plotted you out of your fucking sweet powers you've been working on. Like,
I
next week, I'm just like, the Nazis developed a fucking moon laser, and they shot you.
I mean, if you charged me 35 quid or so for a session,
Yeah.
and then started another session and were like, by the way, I'm taking away all your powers, give me another 35 quid, I might smack you, but
But then you'd give me 35 quid, yeah.
I did this time, so clearly I'm a fucking idiot.
They don't pay me, just an FYI. All right, cool. Well, Jordan, aka Nullspeak, what up, man? How's your week been?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad. We just hit a big kind of internal milestone really well with our indie game, which is very October-y. So it's been a good month of horror, and we took the team to see Blade Runner as a kind of reward.
God, that movie is 3 hours long. That movie is three
was.
fucking hours long. I'm just like, oh, that was
It's extra surreal for us because where I live has been hit with wildfires recently, and so the actual sky has taken on this kind of smoky Blade Runner orange. So if you guys see like a hungry-looking orange light growing brighter from this side, please let me know, because we're sort of still on fire watch around here.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah.
So, question for game stuff: have you ever done a game with amnesia before?
Technically, yeah. I mean, the BioShock games like lean pretty heavily on amnesia. You know, you get turned into a big daddy in BioShock 2 and you remember next to nothing. You spend some time kind of flashing back. Like almost all narrative heavy first person shooters have this problem of either a lengthy cutscene that tells you who you are, or dropping you in and sort of letting you kind of slowly discover kind of the deck of cards that used to be you. And I have preferred to work on the latter, so I cannot throw stones on the amnesia front.
Yeah. Is it like one of those things where it's like, well, how is a player gonna work this out? It's like, what if we just make him amnesia? Like, is that just is that like literally the conversation that happens, or you just like?
I mean, everybody acknowledges how tropey it is. Like, a groan goes around the room if you have to lean on it again. Just BioShock in particular wants to get you into the action so fast that, and yet wants to have this deep story later that it keeps coming up. And you know, like you'd see your wallet and it would sort of allude to what your story was, but very little was stated because you would later find out, spoilers, that it wasn't what you thought. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it keeps working all too well, and so I don't think it'll ever go away completely from games.
Ever thought of doing a series, like a series of 4 short games where your character keeps getting amnesia and the NPCs just keep on getting more pissed at you?
I like that a lot, actually. That works super well with the short but deep pitch that I've heard a few times, where like you play like 30 minutes or less in a experience that has like lots of branching story and stuff, but the idea is that it's going to end fast. Maybe you die or whatever. You play it again and try something different, just see how wide it can go.
Yeah.
And so why
kind
don't
of like an extended Stanley Parable type thing?
Yeah, exactly. And I particularly like his idea of the sort of amnesia pissing off everybody but you, where you're like, you're asking the same question. They're like, no, come on.
Stop it.
This asshole again. They show you a recording of you asking that same stupid question. Come on, please.
Have you ever played a role-playing game called Everyone is John?
Mm-mm.
So the idea is that everyone plays a personality of one single character. And every time something happens to the character or nothing happens to the character for 10 minutes, the personalities get to fight to see who takes over the body. And the idea is that every personality has a goal that they want to do. So if your goal might be like, you get 3 goals, you get like, it might be like kiss someone or fly a plane or whatever, right? Like, and the idea is that you work towards moving John in the direction of doing those things. And at the end of the game, once you've run out of tokens to like gamble with to take over John, you just can't act anymore.
Holy shit! It's Twitch plays John Q protagonist the game.
Yeah. Except you play with like 5 people, and it's pretty fucking insane what happens. Normally, like it goes from like I would literally describe the game as, oh, that escalated quickly, the game. I don't know, like the whole idea of like a person, like very short game, but every game you play the same person who's a completely different personality every single time that you play it that seems cool to me. I'd play that game. Just like,
Yeah.
and your personality is spin the wheel. Oh, cool. You are a coward. Nice. That's
Like a randomly assigned personality aspects roguelike.
roguelike, yeah.
Every time you die, you get like new personality aspects that you have to play into.
Nice.
Okay.
And then you can unlock new personalities by playing. Oh shit, did I just make a game? Did we make a game, guys? Fuck. Alright. Look out for the new Kickstarter coming next week. Doc, my man, how's the homeland?
Yo, pretty good.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's still here.
It's out there somewhere.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking my. So I'm getting married this Saturday. And I'm gonna be taking a honeymoon with the new wife over to Australia. And she's fucking like Indiana Jones levels afraid of snakes. And my father runs a farm, which is where we're going. So it should be interesting because I'll be right in the middle of the hottest season in Australia. And she might see a snake or two.
Those
Okay,
sunbathing snakes, yeah.
What you need to do is get like one of those high neck collar things so that she just can't look down. She'll be fine.
Well, my mum's over here right now, and she was telling her this story about how she was driving home one day and she ran over a snake that was longer than the road. She couldn't see the head or the tail of the snake.
Wrapped up around the axle and.
Not wrapped up around the axle, but
No?
like when she pulled over to see what the fuck she ran over, the snake had turned around and like doubled down on the road, so it was like the length of the road twice over of the snake. And I don't know. I don't think my wife is ever gonna like Australia. We'll see.
Anyone like
As long as
Australia?
you don't see them.
Yeah, just don't look. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all around us all the time. You
Yeah.
just don't notice them
That's it. Yeah, that's it. What have you been up to, man?
until it's too late. I've been playing Heat Signature. I saw you did a video on it, and you were like, "Man, I don't understand this," and I was like, "I get this. I understand this. I have to play this."
I mean,
And
I get it,
It's
but like,
really good.
it's like, I don't know. I don't know about that game, man. Like, it's everything that I want it to be, but then it's so shallow as well that it's like.
It starts off that way as you progress through the galaxy and unlock new stations and new technologies, like the different teleporters and the shields and the stealth fields and all these sorts of things. You start combining them together. I've beaten ships by just intentionally being captured over and over again with a teleporter trap sitting in front of the airlock. So when the enemies go to throw me out, they get teleported outside. And I just get up and walk back in and let someone else catch me, and he carries me out and then gets teleported outside.
Yeah, it's the
There's a lot of interesting and creative things you can do to solve problems.
It's one of those weird things where where the difficulty comes from is the fact that the game relies on like unrealistic like response times from like other outside forces. Like for example, the timer of being captured is like, oh, you got 60 seconds. Like, Jesus Christ, that's the fastest fucking responding guard team in the entire world. And it's not even...
it's actually 60 seconds before they dock at their space station. So all you have to do is kill the pilot or destroy one of the engines.
Yeah.
You can literally just hijack another ship, fly it towards your target ship and shoot the engines out, and then board them while they can't do anything. There's a lot of shit in that game that is not immediately obvious.
Huh, I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
That's
you can hijack other ships and fly around and just commit space warfare.
I did not know that. That's kind of interesting.
Doc mentioning the the teleportation pad reminded me of something I thought of while I was playing Shadow of War, whatever the fuck, the Middle-earth game. The entirety of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit could have been solved if someone invented teleportation magic. Just wanted to make that observation.
That's usually one of the first things they work on is like flying, teleporting, shooting fireballs. Like these are the basic things.
If Gandalf could teleport, both The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings would have been a lot shorter and over in like 10 minutes.
Why does not simply teleport into Mordor? Okay, done.
If you have teleportation magic, you do.
And if they do,
Sauron has an anti-teleport field around Mount Doom.
Well, then just teleport outside Mount Doom.
Yeah, but then he has a plot bubble around the anti-teleport bubble. So,
or we could just use the Eagles, Plan B. You know,
catapults. You just go old school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just launch the ring into Mordor.
Catapults.
Yeah.
Answer to everything. Catapults.
One thing I kind of wish Heat Signature had is like a little bit more of the like Hotline Miami style, visceral stuff.
Needs more like music to it and stuff like that. But one of the things
one thing I thought was lacking was the music. Like Hotline Miami, the music was fucking on point.
It puts you into the mood of just like, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of some gangsters. But like, I really enjoyed Heat Signature. Just like I played the dude who didn't take lives, but all he had was like 7 wrenches in his inventory. So he'd like teleport into a room, wrench, swap to another wrench, swap to another wrench, swap to another wrench. Like,
see, you're halfway there. You missed one step in that. Throw the wrench. When it hits someone, teleport it back to you and throw it at the next one. That's something you can actually do.
Okay, all right.
It's like there's a lot of really neat little interactions with all of the mechanics they've built into it.
Okay, all right. Speaking about throwing wrenches, let's go to our last player for the evening, Mr. Graham Complete. What up, sir? How you doing? How's your week been?
It's fun. I went to see the wrestling. As I do.
Like the live one?
Yeah. And then at the restaurant we went to afterwards, wrestlers from the show came in.
What, like not dressed up?
No, I mean just normal. And we got pictures and it was great. It was awesome. Okay, so I made a video a few weeks ago about me building a chessboard.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
That's fine. Since then I've made another one that's painted and looks interesting. Now I'm making a third draft, like a third one that's like a coffee table size, like it's huge. And since I don't like whittling to make the pieces, I thought it would be easier to make a wood lathe from scratch and then turn the pieces. So I'm building a lathe.
Nice. That's awesome.
I remember you mentioned that. What kind of lathe are you making? Like a little motor or a pedal powered?
Pedal.
Nice. I've wanted to make like a treadle lathe for a long time.
Yeah,
I think it would just be a cool, fun.
It looks like a guillotine right now because it's just the frame.
Wow.
So all my students think I'm building a guillotine.
There's no reason to correct them.
Yeah, no. That's me.
Nice. Okay.
Just start building another one and just have them all confused.
Yeah.
Why do you need 2 guillotines? One is enough.
Well, I mean, it's never like. I mean, I'm sure the French said that too, but then they had lots of them. So.
Yeah, but that's the French.
All right. Speaking about the French, who's ready to play some role-playing games?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh right, yeah, we could do that.
So let's start off with getting some XP purchases out of the way. Does anyone want to buy anything before we get started?
I bought my way up to strength 2, so I'm at 0 XP right now.
Nice. From strength 1?
Yep.
So that costs you what, 10 XP?
10.
Nice. Okay. Anyone else?
So increasing base stats is 5 times?
5 times the new level, yeah.
I'll wait.
Yeah? You're working on getting a new base stat?
I was going to up my intelligence by 1.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll regret this, but I'm gonna up body by 1 to 2.
Oh shit, that's huge. That's gonna give you lots of stuff. So I think with body up to 2, your defense goes up by 1, your stun goes up by 1, and your health goes up by 1 as well. That's actually a pretty big purchase.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
you gonna
it
get?
seemed like
I thought you were gonna get another trait or talent.
it was 15 points to get the trait and 10 points to just, increase my body by 1, which, as you said, gives me so many other side benefits that, like, I may get that trait at some point if I keep pumping willpower, but, like, the value proposition didn't make sense to me. So I'm just gonna do the potentially boring but survival inducing thing.
Sure, yeah. Especially at the end of the last episode when all those Nazis went through a portal for some reason. So.
Yes. Exactly. You did make a point. The maximum evil is en route.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else for the purchase? No.
I'm good.
Sheepy, when do you get your next upgrade for your specialization for your side character? Do you know?
I'm unsure, but I think I'll probably spend it on Charles this time. I may, alternate.
Yeah. So resources 15 points. So whenever you get another 15, you can upgrade.
Okay. That is 1 XP from now, if I want to.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Is anyone else? Well, what's everyone else off by 1? Because if I was to just give everyone 1 XP right now, would everyone make use of that purchase or?
That would literally. I'm literally waiting on 1 XP to get the +1 intelligence. So.
I would probably wait, I think.
No, wait. I need 15, don't I? So no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd still
Yeah.
wait. I think I'm going to upgrade Charles this time. So.
I'd be able to get it by the end of this session, most likely. But
Okay.
I think
cool.
I
We'll
actually
just-
want to put a second specialization into survival tracking instead.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just go with that then. All right. So, all right, no more purchases? Good. Cool. Easy. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, last time we played this game, companions were on a train to J-Town. They were stopped midway by a blockade. Somehow the Nazis know where these people are. Well, the assumed instances that the Nazis guessed where they were going, and there's only really one train railway station that does go to J-Town, so it was a pretty easy guess as to where they were. They were, the train was stopped by a couple of trucks. They were boarded by Nazi soldiers. Our team wasn't having none of that shit, and they took care of the evildoers, as gentlemen heroes tend to do.
Without any embarrassing mistakes.
No, definitely not. Absolutely no embarrassing mistakes whatsoever. And in fact, there was way too much slow motion in the last episode. It was like a fucking action movie rather than a pulp movie. So I enjoyed my time with that.
The last episode was if like, what's the guy who did Watchmen? If that guy directed a pulp movie,
Yeah.
just every single action ever is a slow motion action.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see the gun porn that they put into it. So,
Yeah.
and characters managed to fend off the evildoers, and they took some trucks for their efforts, as well as a magician called Francis the Great. So, congratulations, you have another NPC in your party, I guess.
You're
I didn't
welcome.
think he was all that great, for the record.
You didn't see him do anything, to be fair.
Neither
So
did you, really.
Neither did you.
He gave me 2 outfits for a very reasonable price.
I think
And
you.
2 style points, unfortunately, but still.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Cool. So we begin our adventure with you guys driving into J-Town. You probably drove for another day and a half. Was there anything you guys wanted to do in that period?
Um, was there anybody reading a newspaper on the train?
I mean, you could have gotten a newspaper, yeah. In fact, I would say in the restaurant cart, there probably would have been complimentary newspapers.
That's fine. I'll just since I'm not driving, I'll just read the newspaper. Reading about. I say, oh, did you hear about this
British
newfangled
occupation?
penicillin thing? And,
Okay. Yeah, someone else is doing your work for you, Graham.
yeah, so I'm just I don't know, reading.
Okay. Cool. Anything else from anyone?
Well, we're in an open air Jeep, right?
It's probably got like a top that you could put over the top as well. Like it's probably like one of the soft
Didn't we take the
tops.
truck? We took like a truck.
Yeah, you took like a truck. I imagine it's like a soft top covered back truck thing. To
I
keep
think
the
it's
sand
probably
out.
too bumpy to make a lot of progress on this, but Dr. Gideon is working pretty steadily on a Commander Lurch disguise, using all of his regalia that we harvested off him last time.
Like you're making
We have-
alterations to the suit and stuff like that to fit you better.
Yes,
And
exactly. Anything that I can achieve while we're on. I mean, I recognize that while we're in a bumpy vehicle, it's probably not going to be finished, but starting now.
all right, cool. Yeah, all right. We'll put that in mind. Anyone else? This is an opportunity to do some downtime stuff if you had it.
Have you guys read Marmaduke this week?
All right,
I mean, who's driving? Am I driving?
you're driving. Yeah.
I think it'd be like switching off between
Yeah.
me and
At some point, somebody will have to swap with me so I can clean my guns.
yeah. Well, if it's a day and a half, I'm assuming we like swap off every like 8 hours or so.
Yeah, there's like you guys camp for the night and then you drive sort of thing, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
So when I'm not driving, then I'd be like trying to piece together more of the journal and the cipher or whatever the thing that Emigo had.
yeah, sure. I mean, I would take this as you just sort of reading it, right? So, because as I said, the journal is more of a MacGuffin than it is anything else. Like whenever you need to find information about something you don't understand, you can whip the journal out. It's less about you discovering new things and more about you just using it in the moment to being like, aha, I've seen this before in the journal, and then there it is.
Maybe this is like the indexing. It's like I've seen this before because we had a day and a half drive.
Yeah, okay, I'd get down with that. All right, so you guys arrive in Jerusalem. Now, Jerusalem at the time was separated into multiple, I guess, like towns or states, or I don't know how you describe it, but they're basically split up into a couple of things. There is like the Jewish quarter, there is the Christian quarter, there is the Armen quarter, as well as the Mohammedan quarter. And on top of that, there's like internal Jerusalem, which for the most part is separated out from everything else. Now you guys are coming in from a direction outside, but you're coming from what's called the Jaffa Gate, which is on apparently Jaffa Road. So very, very simple way of getting in there. You guys are passing like a bunch of churches and schools, and on the way there, you're noticing that the roads are getting like going from like open-ended to sort of like closed and more like one vehicle road sort of thing. As you guys are getting in. Yes, you in the back.
So I changed my mind. I do need to have a conversation as we're kind of riding in here. I suddenly have a realization. So because Jerusalem's kind of in a in a heated state at the moment.
Yeah, they're in a occupied state, basically.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Do we want to like decide on a side?
Oh, that's an interesting conversation to have.
As like a group, because like if we are gonna because there's certain like elements of dress that I would be familiar with in Arabic cultures that say one thing over another thing, and we should probably decide like what side of this fence that we're gonna sit on.
Would you like to have this conversation in or out of character?
A mixture. What do you guys think? I say in the car.
Sure. Like it makes sense that we should at least all be coherent, so we're not all sitting in the same truck and like someone is from the British side and someone is from the
Though that would be pretty funny though. But yeah,
it would
Well-
be pretty funny, but
I
Like,
apparently
we
can't
plan-
go
We're in
anywhere.
a fight between two groups of men. It's like, okay, you ready? We'll attack on 3. 1, 2, 3, and we all go to different sides.
Yeah. Like if
I
if
apparently
I have to grass up Chuck, then I'm gonna do it.
I apparently can't go anywhere without being threatened with death. So
I mean,
I vote for British. We go British or American, maybe.
So let me give you an idea of what's going on here. So basically, the Arab and Jewish population of Jerusalem have been, for the most part, required by the British occupation to relinquish their homes and their belongings and stuff like that. They've been refugeed out of Jerusalem at this point. And you guys are in the process of witnessing an uprising from the local Arab state about the British occupation within them. Because for the most part, the religious significant portions of Jerusalem have been locked away to the actual population of Jerusalem. So so basically you'll see a lot of Jewish family members and stuff like that along what's called a section of the Jerusalem outer wall which is now affectionately called the Wailing Wall of Jerusalem. So you're going to see a lot of that sort of stuff. And when I say Wailing Wall, I mean like they're lamenting the fact that they cannot get in to be closer to the religious portions of Jerusalem. So what's called the I got the name of it here. I believe it's called the Temple Mount is what it is right now. I'm going to give you this information for free because otherwise it's going to take too long for you guys in character to find this information. So basically, the first temple of King Solomon was basically destroyed, and they built another temple on top of it. Yeah.
This all happened to be conveniently in that newspaper.
Yes.
I-
The plot paper. Yeah.
I believe that Francis, the Great, knows all this.
Yes,
and
he's elaborating on everything. He's like, did you
Yeah.
gentlemen know that blah, 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 blah. So, it's a lot of information to grasp, but the general gist of it is that the temple was destroyed and rebuilt. And at Temple Mount, there is a bunch of different temples, 3 of them, in fact. There's I'm not sure when this actually... See, this is kind of the problem that I have with all this information, because it's hard to find out what exactly transpired specifically within this year. But, give me, a couple of years benefit here, up or back. But the idea being that the 3 temples have been sort of blocked off by British occupation. And... it's like, so basically it's British occupation until about 1960s or 1970s is when, the Arab state gets it back. So for the most part, it's very volatile environment right now.
So, kind of addressing the group, I'm thinking like with some of us, pointing to Charles, we may find it hard to pass ourselves off as Arab rebels, or like Arab sympathizers. Um,
Well, I
So,
mean, Gideon, for example, has been working with the
Right.
Black Hand.
right, and well, that's one thing.
Yes.
So, do we split up and send some of
Teaming up with the rebels is pretty pulpy.
But you also have a British lord in your party at the
Yeah,
same
that's the
time.
thing.
Yeah.
Like
Hello.
Gideon has been like ever since this friggin' magician got in the car, he's been like dead silent, saying absolutely nothing, like looking anywhere but at this guy.
Yeah.
But he sort of stammers a second and says, looking at Lord Abernathy, he says, "The subtle approach has failed us twice. Perhaps we should use our overt English friend here to our advantage. You're an agent of the Crown, yes?"
Yes, yes. I work for the Crown. I complete tasks given to me by the King. God save King George.
So that's our play. That's our stance.
Where are we
Says,
going?
if a smaller group of us needs to peel away at any time to pretend to be rebels, we can do that, but not at large. And he sort of sweeps the fucking, because remember that we have 2 Englishmen dressed as magicians and magicians' assistants, and then an actual third magician of indeterminate origin. Like, it's just like, you know. So Loud is. I'm feeling like Loud is as good as we've got.
It's also worth pointing out that Sheepy's costume, or I guess, Charles's costume, is literally filled with bullet holes.
Yeah.
So does
Part of a magic trick. Fine.
so if we're operating under the auspice of the Crown, does he want to take off the magician's outfit and put the Lord's stuff back on?
I left it.
Left it.
I left it on the train.
Well,
You
great.
have your belongings, Sheepy. Like,
I left my clothes on the train.
okay, all right then.
What
Yeah.
were you-
We were.
Give
It was.
that guy has a crate full of costumes. You paid him $10. I feel like giving you any other clothes gratis is reasonable, given that we drove him away from a broken down train.
I'm not changing in front of another chap. I went to my own compartment. I derobed. I put on my clothes, and in the confusion and chaos, I just forgot to bring my clothes with me. Okay?
Woodbury, shield my nakedness from them.
And Woodford like.
Woodbury, hide my shame.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to
So-
complain here.
If you want, Sheepy, right? Woodbury would have your clothing, because he knows that you're literally impossible. So
Yeah, that would be possible, but I'm.
it's up to you.
assuming at
It's
this-
up to you whether you actually want it. Because if you
I don't
if
think it would help for him to be in disguise or not. I feel like his character just exudes Britishness.
Yeah, pretty much.
he
Like,
could be dressed as a swamp monster, and the swamp monster would be like, "Cheerio, chaps."
But
Woodbury, where's my tea?
he needs to have papers. Is the problem? I would think.
Oh no, Woodbury would have all of his stuff. Like,
Oh yeah,
okay.
Woodbury.
All right, then
I'm not allowed my papers.
you know how you go on a fucking holiday with your family, and your mum and dad take care of your passport when you're young. Yeah.
Woodbury just has a briefcase, which anytime he sees someone official, he just like opens up and it's called it. Like, I believe everything is in order.
I like to believe that Woodbury's actually MI6, and you're just like his idiot son that follows him around. He uses you as like literal bullet sponge. But yeah,
Well, it didn't work last time. He got smashed in the face.
yes. Well,
So no, tally ho, I guess.
tally ho. All right,
Yes, they smashed him in the face and they tried to kill you, so
Yeah.
it worked.
it works. Yeah. I just wanted him out of the way so that you wouldn't kill him. So that's my experience with it. Okay, so let's reconvene. You guys have all decided that you're going to, at least at the beginning, the onset, approach the the British forces to see if you can get entry. What's the plan here? You want to get inside of Temple Jerusalem?
I mean, which group is going to be less hostile to us? Obviously, the British is our.
I mean,
way
both
into
sides
Jerusalem.
aren't hostile to you right now. Like
Yeah.
neither side is hostile to you.
I would assume that the British are like they have checkpoints in and out of the city.
Yeah, for the
And
most part.
British
Like,
citizens are more likely to be allowed through there.
yes.
Yeah.
Which
And I assume all of your papers are correct. Unless you want to say that your papers are not correct, in which case that's an interesting subplot.
I mean, I'm in and out of London all the time, so I'd assume I'd have all of my papers
Yeah.
working order.
The only person whose papers I might think might be suspect might be Gideon's. What would you say that your sort of status is regarding that?
He's an American expat.
Yeah.
So like they're at least allies. And he was planning to come to Jerusalem without the rest of these guys. So it makes some sense that he would have at least tried to secure, some kind of traveling academic or consultant temporary papers, basically.
Okay, there is the American consulate inside of Jerusalem as well. If you guys needed
Yes.
to, whatever. But
I would probably need that because I got picked out of a library.
yeah, well, I
I'd
mean,
take my papers to a library.
yeah. So you guys are gonna like potentially meet up with
Mercer.
Daniel Mercer, I believe his name
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, the plan was to go to a Terra Arcanum themed bar, like basically wherever I've been told that it's possible to make contact, and for me to be visible every couple of hours or so in that bar, so that we don't miss him. But we don't know how far away from Jerusalem he is, so it's kind of an ongoing upkeep thing that Dr. Gideon has to do in between other stuff we're doing.
Yeah, so there's like places out. There's a bunch of like places outside of Jerusalem. Like there's Jerusalem proper, which is like where the temples are, where the Christian Jewish quarter and all that sort of stuff is. And then outside of that is like a outskirted area of Jerusalem, and anything outside of the main Golden Gate wall of Jerusalem itself, you're able to access pretty easily. Like there's British checkpoints everywhere, but as long as you guys have your papers in order, which it sounds like you all do, it shouldn't be a problem. And we're not gonna roleplay you guys getting stuck in customs for whatever reason. So because
I mean,
fun.
you've done it before.
I have done it before, and well, I just wanted to point out that you guys they would have to get through customs, and then they ended up
messing it up massively.
Instead of just like role playing that they were waiting in line and getting through it, they decided, fuck it, man, let's break the chains that hold us down, freedom, and that was interesting. But we're not going to do that here. It's assumed that you guys, we get like a montage of you guys going through like an MP arm checkpoint for the British forces and blah 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 blah. Everyone has their papers in order. I think for the most part, maybe you get slowed down a little bit by Francis the Great because they open up his pack, like his luggage, because you guys are luggage light for the most part, unless some of you have like a lot with you. That's the only thing that's really slowing you down right now is Francis and his like ensemble for the most part. So yeah, you guys meet essentially outside. Like you guys are like on a road. Probably King George Avenue. Probably along there, which is like southeast of like Jerusalem proper. And there's like little tiny like bars and cafes and stuff like that, like mum and pop owned stuff outside there, where Daniel, Mr. Mercer, has told you that he would send someone to meet you guys. Whether it's him or someone else is hard to say. So if you guys want to go there or do something else, that's completely up to you guys.
I think that's.
I mean, that's our next step, isn't it? Is meet Mercer.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we have learned that even if we are able to discover a door to the Hollow Earth described by Wesley, we don't have the key, and we don't even know if it is a traditional key.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right.
And I'm assuming he would be the closest thing to an inn to the actual temples, because if they're locked down by military rule, then he's probably the person that would be able to get us in.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So you guys make your way in, and you're probably sitting there for a bit of time, relaxing, going over your books or whatever, reading your newspapers, chatting amongst yourselves. When a man, a blonde man, blue eyes, striking features, kind of like your typical Aryan poster soldier, walks in. He's wearing a brown bomber jacket with the with no affiliation really written on his uniform, and he comes in, addresses you all, and sits down at the table with you all. He turns to you, Gideon. It's Mercer, just so you know. And he says, in his American accent, because I can't do an American accent being an Australian. He says, "Good to see you, friend. How long has it been?"
Too long. I am far from home. I know little of this land, and it seems that, well, I have a new breed of problem, and I could use your advice.
He turns to address the rest of you, and he's like, "It's good to see you all made it out of that U-boat. Before we get started, maybe you could fill me in on what it is that you've learned from our Nazi friends."
Well, first of all, who are you?
He opens his mouth to address the question, then he closes it again. He's like, "We've met before. I gave you, I put you on that U-boat."
Doesn't ring a bell.
Does not ring a bell.
No.
Huh. Well,
Woodbury, do you know this
one
chap?
that does remember him?
Woodbury's just maybe sipping a cup of tea. He's like, "Yeah, that would be Hans.
Oh, yeah.
I thought his name was Jorg.
No, that's what you called him."
Right. Well, hello, Jorg. What's going on?
He sort of scratches his head and he's like, "I'm not actually German. I'm an American. I just."
Well, I can't tell you by your accent.
Out Australian.
Sounds kind of British Australian.
Yeah, sort of.
Yes.
Hard to tell.
It's been
All right,
like
you
this
cheeky
day.
cunts. No,
Sorry, I really forgot who he was.
yeah, it's okay. So he'll. It doesn't matter whether you recognize me or not, but it would be nice to know if what you have found.
Quick spot check. Is there a fucking magician with us, or is he off touring? Let me, just to be sure, the whole issue of whether the other Francis, he's not physically sitting with us, I assume.
If you don't want him to, you could have dropped him
I
off
would have
somewhere.
I would have done
I mean,
anything possible to get him away
Well, he
from us.
just-
Been his hype man, promoted his talents elsewhere. Anything.
I'm in charge, and I promised him a lift, so I'm gonna keep bringing him with us until he wants to leave.
He'd probably step out. He wanted to get to Jerusalem. He has his own reasons for being
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
He's not gonna just be the third wheel in all of your party conversations. So he's got a thing to do. And
I
He's
just
just-
don't
he's just
trust
gonna
him at all.
He's
It's
just gonna
probably
show up
evil.
and he's going to show up everywhere we go. We go to Hollow Earth. He's just there. He's selling your suits.
I'm 90% sure he's the final boss that we have to face.
it was me, Lord Thule Society myself.
And
I've
your little dog.
I've been watching you for a very long time. I was Francis the Great. It's like, oh my God, it was. Yeah, no, he would probably excuse himself. Yeah. 100%.
Well, if we know it's like, if we recognize that it's Hans, and we probably do, then I'll just be like, hold up the sheet that the Imago had for us. I'm like, this was the missing part of a journal. This basically tells us everything.
So he'll take it and it's like, a cipher, huh? And you had this the entire time, Gideon.
Oh shit!
You actually told me offline that they gave it to me, but I will.
No.
pretend...
Francis sent it to you in a letter. Not Francis. Wesley. Francis the Great sent it to you in a letter. You two are old friends. No.
It's all a conspiracy. Oh my god.
I say, well, if you'll forgive me, the organization that you work for is known to suppress private research. So I didn't know if I could trust you. I still don't.
He'll hand the paper back to you, Francis, and he'll say, with good reason. No one should meddle in things they don't understand. You of all people should understand that, Gideon.
And yet, nightly, I do. And he doesn't mean to sound like he's making a masturbation joke. He's deadly serious.
Yeah,
But
yes, Jorg. I have to say, I agree with our friend here. If we weren't allowed to mess with things we don't understand, I'd never get anything done.
He'll lean into you, Gideon, and be like, I'm starting to think that our British friend here might be of certain
Royal
lacking
stock.
of intelligence. Yeah, royal stock.
Say, yet he seems to have a certain charmed life. He's been of some use. And he just sort of like looks nervously back and forth between them, like he's fully expecting Abernathy to like start shouting at any time.
Yeah.
I'm assuming I can't hear this.
Yeah, I mean, it's plot whisper, so, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you probably are actually like, hey, like get us drinks. You probably are like looking away when when that happens.
Yeah, waitress is probably like, yeah. And you're like,
Just
what
like-
do you mean you don't have any tea? Of course you have tea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
What is this, Russia?
No,
What do you mean this is a bookstore? Serve me some tea, damn it!
Okay.
The I can, if you want, I can tell him like what we've concluded based on what we read.
Sure,
That's like Gideon is really, he is driven to solve this puzzle, and so he just kind of like blurts over everybody. He says, "Inside, places of power are referred to, and some kind of lock to which we do not even know what the key might resemble. Do you have any advice?"
Oh, I can do you one better. He looks at your other companions and he says, all of you, I'm going to need your word as men of honor that you will work within our interests of the Terra Arcanium. Otherwise, I don't think I will allow you to continue further.
That
Point
might
of
have been a
interest,
poor
Oldby.
choice of words.
Point of interest. Who's that?
What do you mean, who's that?
What the thing you just said, the Terra Arcanum.
Oh, we're an organization that do our best to make sure that the secrets of Hollow Earth remain secrets.
And what is Hollow Earth?
Okay. You're a fucking senile grandfather, and you're trying to convince him. No, Dad, listen. We need to just please come back.
Just
inside,
do
put your
Control Alt
pants on."
Delete for God's sake.
We like throw a sheet at him and maybe he'll shut down or something.
Oh, it's nighttime, time for sleep.
Sleep time.
I'm pretty sure he has
Granddad.
cancer. I read it on the Google.
I lean over to Francis and I say, "Does any part of the journal have pictures. Like I'm just like trying to like find something that will help it lodge in his brain.
Well,
I'll flip it. I'll flip it open to like the dumbest looking picture I can find. Like the thing is immaculately illustrated.
Yeah.
It's just like a
It's
sketch
just
of a
like-
circle with another circle in it and an arrow, and it's like inside Earth.
Yeah,
Hollow
that
Earth.
a little T-Rex in there. Just-
Yeah.
Would someone like to spend about probably 10 minutes drawing a picture for me and explaining it to me?
You could probably do it
That
in
might-
2
that might work.
seconds.
Have you ever seen an egg before?
Yes, of course.
Imagine that, but planetary scale. There's stuff inside.
Right. Well, simple enough.
There you go.
Well, I was about to say that perhaps a deep and rooted understanding of the Hollow Earth might actually be detrimental to him. But for now,
No, it's perfectly simple. We're looking for an egg inside the Earth.
Exactly.
I don't think he
Exactly.
has a deep and rooted understanding.
Or just let him think he does.
We want the creamy yolk in the center, though.
That creamy yolk is what the Thule Society is after as well, which is why we need to keep these pieces of information secret, especially from them. They're actively searching it, and what they find within the Hollow Earth could alter the state of the world above it. You understand that there are things down there that no mere mortal should ever have their hands on.
The Thule Society believed that the egg was all white, and kind of looks over at Dejarius and smirks.
Yes, well, it's unfortunate that some of the world, the outer world, believe that one should stand above another, when ultimately we're all of the same stock. It's kind of why we're having problems here in Jerusalem, and why your expedition, for the most part, has been halted. But I do have something that can help. And he pulls out of his bomber jacket like an envelope with like a very heavy bottom sort of thing. You can tell that there's something in it. He's like,
Is it an egg?
yes, it's an egg. As long
Oh,
as
cut up soldiers.
I don't need you to sign papers or anything of the sort. I trust Gideon's judgment when it comes to how much he wishes to talk about this to you. And, understanding as to why. I'm going to have to look at this picture now, if you're laughing at it. Class. Woo! Got him.
Got it.
Secret.
Perfect. I
It's up
love
here.
it.
No, they're never getting it out of me. Don't worry. I won't bend to torture.
Perfect. So, yeah, I don't need you to sign anything on paper. I don't need any blood or anything of the sort, but your word is more than enough for me. So as long as you can all agree to keep this to yourselves, I'll be more than happy to offer my assistance in getting you where you need to go.
I vouch for these men. You know me.
I
know that I have.
I need to hear them say it, Gideon.
He stops and just like looks at the rest of you.
What is it? What are we saying, huh?
Whether say the words.
Whether you're allied with the Terra Carnum and their quest for keeping things out of the hands of evildoers and from the surface world in general.
We'll keep them out of the hands of evildoers.
So you say that you're okay to be allied with them?
Yeah, but I'm consciously ignoring the part of outsiders because I want to bring something back that'll prove my theories.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leading towards. Something like so what he wants us to say we're allied with the Terra Arcanum and will vow
With
to
their
keep the
interests,
secrets
yeah.
of Hollow Earth with their interests and vow to keep the secrets of Hollow Earth secret.
Yeah. Like, there's a reason. So, you're all smart individuals. There's a reason why people don't know about Hollow Earth. And it is because of the Terra Arcanum. And they do a very good job of keeping the secret safe. However, you know, when one of their insiders vouches for, you know, people such as yourselves, it goes a long way to, you know, allowing you to do what you need to do within Hollow Earth. Like, there's probably a lot of people, like, if you, like, especially Francis, like, maybe you might have uncovered, you know, secrets or something along the lines of, like, people suddenly becoming wealthy or suddenly becoming more intelligent or something along those lines. You know, weird things within history that shouldn't have happened, that everyone just goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Weird that we didn't notice that he was such a talented individual beforehand.
Yeah, like the
Didn't he used to only
major,
have one arm?
Yeah.
yeah, major historical figures like Alexander the Great, Attila the Hun
Yeah, that's sort of,
Rasputin.
took over the world.
Yeah.
Basically.
exactly right. Whether or not those sorts of things are, you know, related to Hollow Earth, you have your suspicions. You're a paranoid man, but there's an opportunity for you each to potentially all become greater in life with what you personally find within Hollow Earth. And the Terra Arcanum isn't against you using that for your own personal gains, but they are against you guys, like, you know, oh, here's the cure for cancer. It's literally a plant you rub on your face and cancer's gone. Like, you know, like things like that will ultimately, you know, lead to the exploration of it and the eventual plundering of it. So
The Terra Arcanum are a pharmaceutical company?
yes, they're big. They're mega corp.
Got
Yeah,
it.
Big
So,
Pharma.
Big
Got
pharma.
it.
So
Now I
it's
understand.
kind of you use your common sense to decide what you can take and use.
Yeah, nothing that'll like change the history of or change the course of history for humanity forever, kind of thing.
Yeah, as long as you keep the secret, that's really all
Yeah.
that matters. So
Yeah, yeah.
I love. You can hear him winding up. He's like, so if Charles swears to use his common sense, then his conscience is clear.
I swear, within my extreme intelligence. Yeah. So as long as you all agree to this,
Hyde would probably just kind of say something along the lines of, "Don't worry, your secrets are safe."
Indeed.
I've got to keep it non-committal because Hyde doesn't pick sides and will kill Terra Arcanum if he has to.
fair enough. Yeah. But you need to get where you need to go, right? So
Yeah, so your secrets are safe will work because dead people don't tell secrets.
that's true. Yes. Okay. So I guess everyone sort of looks at Francis and Solomon.
Yeah, I already said my piece.
Okay. I guess it's just the one-armed man who's, you know, the only one who hasn't agreed.
Sure, why not?
Fuck it, man. I'm in. No. Okay. So he'll nod and he'll place this, like a heavy. He'll put the envelope on the table and it'll hit the table with a heavy clank, and he'll say, "What's in that envelope is what myself and Wesley used to enter the Hollow Earth. However, as you've probably already read within his journal, it does require significant... It was never really explained to me, I guess voodoo, energy, something along those lines, in order to stabilize the abyss, the darkness, in order for us to enter.
And the journalist said only like chosen people can enter.
Interesting. He did have a flair for the Yeah.
It might have been poetic. It might have been narrative or whatever. I didn't. He
was a
never
bit
sent
of
a letter back to
ponce.
me, so I don't know.
He always did enjoy writing his journals with the event that someone might actually read them. He'd probably be the first man in existence to do that, but no, chosen or unchosen, I think, as long as you have that, and he points to the envelope, and as long as you've, sufficiently fueled it with the right energies, which, we traveled many places, and Wesley's idea of fueling it was to like bathe it in a river and cover it in the dust of a temple and things like that. Whether or not it actually created any sort of energy inside of it is hard to say, but these are the things that we did before we entered.
What of the gate?
The gate
Where?
itself, well, that was deep within the jungle. Only only Wesley himself knew the exact entrance to that. Is it not in the journal?
It says there's multiple entrances.
Weird. Perhaps he's been to the Hollow Earth more than
Maybe
once.
he's been keeping secrets. Seems like that's what you all are good at.
Yes, well, those secrets should have died with the man, but he felt it right to send it all to you, so perhaps there's a reason for that.
Well, there's a reason we're in Jerusalem. Most of what the Nazis were talking about was something called Everlife. I attached that to Eden and basically the Fountain of Youth and a magical garden, that kind of the stuff that folklore is made of. And
funny you mentioned that, because when we entered into through the abyss to Hollow Earth itself, old war wounds and stuff like that actually disappeared. Now that he mentions it, Gideon, you do remember that at one stage he used to wear an eye patch, and you probably would have thought that it was like just cosmetic, that
A disguise, yeah,
a disguise or something, but he doesn't wear the eye patch anymore. So perhaps his time in Hollow Earth had healed his wounds to the point where he no longer needs it. And the journal did mention something along those lines as well.
it seems to me that any culture that kind of has one of those myths might have had a portal or a gateway to Hollow Earth to fuel it. So that would mean there's one in South Africa, there's one in South America, there's one in the rainforest, there's one in Jerusalem. Who knows where else?
Well, if there was an entrance here in Jerusalem, we would have known about it already. But in terms of what you need to do to find these things, well, I'm sure the journal is going to be more help than we could be. We do have our leads.
How can you possibly say you would have known about it when you didn't even know there was more than one entrance? There could be one under this very building.
You notice certain things about an entrance to Hollow Earth that it sort of corrupts the surrounding landscape. Things like floating rocks and trees changing color or blowing in a different direction.
Sky becoming
People coming
dark.
back from the dead, turning
Earthquakes.
wide and walking on the water.
Yes, well, perhaps you might find something similar in a more religious, significant place, or hell, maybe even somewhere where mysteries are abound.
In any event, this city has been a holy site since time immemorial. If we need to and he looks at the envelope. Charge this somehow. We may be in the right location for that.
There's a good chance, yes. We went to significant places when we charged the ring. The first, it's a ring.
I was about to say, can we like have a look? Can I pick it up and have a look what's inside the fucking
Yeah,
envelope?
it's a ring.
Just
Yeah,
end this mystery.
yeah. He accidentally just said it anyway. He's like,
And then he says, "There's a second one, but I lost it."
yeah. So you pull out you open the envelope into your hand.
Nice
and,
callback.
what you actually get is like it's a very heavy signet ring. It's made out of gold, and what's making it heavy on top of it is a very large red gemstone embedded into the ring itself. And you know, he sees you looking it over, and he'll say, so what you have there is St. John's ring. It has gone missing. We would like it
Found
to
it.
stay missing, if you catch my meaning. I suggest you keep it to yourselves that you do have it. It has significance to a lot of religious people, and there are many knockoffs. But that is indeed the legitimate ring. So I suggest you keep that safe.
I say we entrust it to Gideon.
Gideon says, well, first, do I get any weird sort of vibrations off of that thing, or is it inert in its current state?
So how significant have your psychic readings been up until this point? Like, would you say that running into these companions that you have was the most significant thing that's happened with your thing so far, or have you had
that
like?
that was the high water mark that you gave me, and I take that to, I think he got hints of when somebody had been possessed but was no longer, or whatever, like in his profiling work.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys were off the charts. It was never visual before, I don't think, except in dreams. And this was like an overlaid, vascular system. So so far that's the top.
Okay, I imagine when you hold it, you get the feeling of the skin around your hand, like aging, I guess would be the right word, like becoming less taut around your bones, looser, essentially. But when you look over your hand, it looks the same. You just get the feeling of that it's sort of it's either you can take that however you want. Maybe it's a very old ring. Maybe it's passed through the hands of someone very old before you. You're not entirely sure, but that's the feeling you get when you at least touch it. So
Maybe the ring's a vampire.
it doesn't hurt. It's not like a painful thing. It's just sort of the feeling you get.
Well, he'll take it and slip it on under the blue glove that has the sort of protection against the evil eye in the center, and then pull the glove back on, basically concealing it.
It's a pretty chunky ring, so like it's obvious that you're concealing a ring under there, but no one can see what it is. So
I think that's probably fine. Like and then he says, looking over at Dejarius, but not wanting to totally tip his hand, because he has a sample of Gideon's skin and all sorts of stuff at this point. He's learned a little bit about, read that one newspaper about him. So he says, so it's Mercer who had the eye patch, right? At some point.
yeah, he did. Yes.
So he kind of can't help himself, because this meeting might break up. He says, "What can you tell us about the eye? Was there some special reagent? Did you immerse yourself in a pool?"
Virgins.
Oh, you mean my own? Okay, sure. Well, I suppose I should answer that question. While I was there, took a cutlass to the eye, and it was damaged upon, beyond repair. I could not see out of it, and it was ghastly to look at. Hence why I covered it. But within my time within Hollow Earth, we spent maybe half a year there, exploring, interacting with the locals, that sort of stuff. It eventually began to work again. On its own.
He just says, I see. So something about the place. And he just trails off.
You'll understand
you know-
once you eventually get there, but it's a very interesting place. There is no night, for one. There is only daylight. And time itself seems to stretch beyond your understanding. Watches don't work anymore. Compasses may have no meaning. The air itself is moist and thick, and the fruit that you eat and the food that you consume in there is hearty and spicy and sweet. Everything about that place is exhilarating. And once we left, once our time was over, we couldn't get back in. And that's when I joined Wesley, to make sure that none of those secrets would ever leave that place. And we've been searching for a way to get back ever since. Well,
If that ring was the way in once, do you think it'll be the way in again?
possibly. Wesley was the man to talk to about how to fuel it. So
Well, like shake the journal and be like, this is all the whistling we got right now.
yes, well, I offer you my sincere condolences that you have to trudge through his poetry in order to find the answers. But
Well, why don't we just track him down?
the man is dead.
Oh, well then, yeah, no, that.
You were invited to his funeral.
Oh, that was Wesley. Okay, yes.
You're related to him. You're his cousin.
Like twice removed, and with the by my mother's side.
He turns to you, Gideon. He stands up, puts his hand on your shoulder. Is like, I trust you. I hope you know what you're doing. And he'll make his way out.
As soon as he's out of earshot, I'll say, I don't trust him.
I think he's a Nazi. I swear I saw him in Nazi uniform at least once.
I also think he's a Nazi.
There you go.
Even if he is a Nazi, if this thing gets us to Hollow Earth, might be worth it.
I agree as
I'm
well.
not sure it's about us getting to Hollow Earth. I think it's about him getting back.
That's fine. If it becomes a problem, we'll, give him.
You can blow his head off.
I can. It's true.
He's so happy about it. It's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I can just fucking murder people. I forgot.
So,
Flash back to the bullet going through the guy's face in slow motion.
bouncing around his skull. Yeah. And with that charming remembrance, I think we'll take our first break. Fearless gentlemen heroes as they sit around a coffee shop in Jerusalem looking over a ring. Well, no, the ring's on Gideon's hand now, but You guys have a key, and that key needs to be powered, and you also need to find a gate. So, roleplay. I don't know.
Well, we should probably try to get to the temple then. What better place to power something up than the seat of a blessed ruler?
Yeah, really. Where I just kind of get up and kind of take a feel of the room, like the other people in here.
You mean like, do you want to do like a paranoia check? Is that what you're saying?
Not paranoia, more just like empathy, like literally an empathy.
Okay, sure.
Like, what are people talking about? What are they feeling? What's going on?
Are you trying to are you just trying to get an idea of like the general, like, are you trying to get like rumors and such, or like what are you trying to gain from it?
I want to know if I were going to try and garner information through roleplay with an NPC, I want to know how I should act. So I want to act natural.
Oh, okay. You want to be appropriate for the setting, right? Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, you don't need to make a roll for that. I think as a player character, you are generally, wizened enough to except for maybe the only person I'd ask to make that roll is probably Charles, but I think everyone else is perfectly fine acclimating themselves to the environment. For the most part, everyone seems like. At least in here, calm. But the people on the street that you've run into and stuff like that, they seem in a heightened state of like, being frightened. Like, this, British occupation for the most part, for the people of Jerusalem, isn't a good thing, and people are on edge would be the correct term that I would use here. If you walk down the street, maybe you see things like people whispering to each other in alleyways, and when you walk by, you might see people looking at you from windows with a suspicious tint to them, things like that. Like everyone is afraid of everyone else's shadows. So how you act, you would probably have to be a little less intimidating. A man with one arm is certainly not something that a lot of people would feel at ease with. So I'm not sure how you fix that, essentially. But yeah, everyone is scared of everyone else. And you guys, as a player characters, have an unearthly aura around you of intimidating. So.
I sort of resign myself to in that case. I sort of resign myself to not take point in this case, and I'll just kind of I'll take a feel of the group and follow along. I'll kind of like defer to somebody else for once.
Okay, so what's the game plan here, guys?
Well, we don't even know how to charge the ring, right? We don't know what activated it in the first place.
We're just going to a place that like has religious significance. That like if this is a place that has a gate somewhere, then there's probably somewhere to power it nearby.
You said it was the ring of Saint Charles, Saint Peter,
Saint John.
John.
Sorry, I think I misspoke. I'm pretty sure it's been a while since I've had to pull up this. Like, I researched this information about, first episode to give you guys a MacGuffin, but you guys took a long time to get to this point. So, okay. It's the ring of King Edward the Confessor. Yeah.
So this is not an object from Hollow Earth.
No. This is a.
Well, I mean, it might be.
I mean, it might be. Yeah.
He might have got it from Hollow Earth.
My assumption.
It's a ring of religious significance, right? That's what this is. So.
There's the way I see it. There's kind of two options. Being a man of science, there's he was being literal that we need to literally find some electricity and charge the ring, or B, it's powered by something like some esoteric concept like justice or love or
Justice.
That's kind of how
Friendship.
we need to. Well, I think the electricity one that's an easy experiment to conduct.
Yeah.
That we have to find an embodiment of justice.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like those dynamo watches, which they like charge
them?
themselves. Yeah.
It's one of 5. We each need one, and then do like the power punch, like the friendship.
I'm not taking heart. No one likes heart.
Are you kidding? He got all the women and the men and the monkeys. He got whatever he wanted. Like,
But anyway,
he
so
was
we
a
need to
boss.
conduct some sort of electricity experiment, I guess, or wait for it to rain.
That's an interesting concept. Like
Right?
fueling it with science, I would be okay with attempting to do that, right? And it really depends on like the approach that you go for, because I know how this thing gets powered, right?
Right.
And
It's kind of thematic as well, using science to overcome the magic. That's kind of what.
that's
the
what
thing
Hollow
is.
Earth and Pulp is all about,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
I'm perfectly okay with that being an approach that you guys go for. So
That's fine. I sort of have an idea. Is there a lamp like sitting near the table?
yeah, sure. There's a lamp. I mean, it's inside. It's Jerusalem. They don't have a
Hey, I take off the lampshade. I with my arm and sort of like putting in the crook of my arm, I just basically smash the light bulb on the table, and try and basically complete a circuit between the two stanchions that support the filament
Mhm.
and the ring.
Okay, so currently
I
Gideon
take the ring
has,
off and
yeah.
take a prudent step back.
So you hand the ring over? All right, cool. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so his approach was very different. He was actually like, especially if the magician has rejoined us, he's like closed-mouthed and sort of stretching out mentally and trying to find, if we were heading towards the temple, psychic locations within it. But if Degerius suggests this, it takes him aback. He kind of reluctantly takes off the ring, but then surrenders it up.
Do you surrender it because you trust the man's intelligence?
Yes, it's. I believe that he, whether he knows it or not, is attuned to a some kind of phenomenon that is the bridge between magic and science. And I'm interested in seeing, essentially what he can do.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you have the ring, Solomon, and you attempt to like charge it with just like latent electricity. Oh, yeah.
My intent is to allow electricity to flow through it.
Okay. Well, being gold, it does conduct.
Yeah.
Also gets very hot.
It also gets very hot. Whether or not that actually like charges the ring, you're unaware, right? It was one of those like when Mercer mentioned it. He said that they covered it in dust. They submerged it in a river, but the ring itself wouldn't change. Like it didn't change in its appearance or anything of the like.
But it does get hot.
You're charging the gold with.
That's fine. So it's not changing a physical. I don't understand those three things should.
It's not like it glows, right? It's not like it goes woo, and then it glows or nothing. But
no, that's not my point. My point is that you're saying that they submerged it in water. They put dust on it, and nothing happened. It didn't change at all.
No, it didn't change in its appearance. It didn't illuminate an
Wait,
unearthly glow or anything.
Did they like put the dust in the water? Was that when they were first charging it, or was that when they were trying to recharge it?
This is before they went to the gate that they found.
Okay, so we've got to go like Fifth Element on this ring.
Right. So I guess my point would be, if it didn't change by looking at it, either it changed, chemically or electrically. Those four things are all physical things to me. So I'm wondering why it would heat up where it wouldn't change appearance. So I basically just undo that and give it back, and I say I'm going to cross that off my mental list of things to try,
Mm-hmm.
I suppose. So whatever's next. That's kind of all I got right now.
Yeah. Yep. So what would you guys like to attempt to, like, do you want to learn about the ring? Do you want to, like, try and find a way into the temple? Like, there's plenty of sort of things that you could work towards.
I'd lobby for getting to the temple, because even if there's not like concrete literature in there, there might be artworks, paintings, sculptures to try and give us a clue.
That's what I was thinking. If we know who the ring belonged to, maybe we can find out more about them. There might be some hint there, but of course, Hyde probably wouldn't go looking for
Yeah,
that.
so all you know is Saint Edward the Confessor. That's all you know about the ring's owner.
Do I know anything history-wise about, or does
Yeah,
Francis think history-wise?
I can roll it to see.
Yeah, give me a check here. We'll make this a 7 difficulty.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty fucking good. So I actually have the Legend of the Ring here that I will read to you guys.
Sweet.
So you can get an understanding of this. And I guess Francis, whether or not I assume you would give this information up. So we take a flashback. You're in the library of Britain. And you're going through these old religious textbooks, trying to find anything that would piece Hollow Earth to something, right? And you at this point in your research, you're coming across a lot of myths, a lot of legends, right? And you're going through all of them just to find any sort of thing that's significant. Upon hearing the name Saint Edward the Confessor, you do recall a myth about a ring that he once owned, that for the most part has been, lost to time. And the reason why is because the ring changes hands a lot. And whoever owns it now is completely, lost to everyone. So one day, the old king was attending a dedication of church in honor of St. John, when a poor man came up to him and begged an alms for the love of St. John. St. Edward put his hand to his purse, but neither silver nor gold could be found. He sent for his almoner, but he lost his crown, and still the poor man stood before him and begged. Edward was in great distress, until he remembered that he wore a large and very precious ring. He drew this from his finger, and for the love of St. John, he gave it to the beggar, who thanked him greatly and disappeared. And now you shall hear what happened to the ring. That night, far away in Palestine, 2 English pilgrims lost their way in the wilderness. The sun had set behind the bare mountains, and the 2 men were alone in a desolate place, knowing not which way to turn, nor where to find shelter from robbers and wild beasts. As they were wondering what to do, a band of youths in bright raiment appeared before them, and in their midst was an old man, white and hoary, wonderful to look upon. Dear friends, said the pilgrims, whence came from you? Of what creed and birth are you? Of what kingdom and king? What seek you here? We are Christians from England, and we have come to expiate our sins, seeking the holy places where Jesus lived and died. Our king is named Edward, and we have lost our way. Come with me, and I will conduct you to the good hostelry of the love of King Edward. So he led them to a city where they found an inn and a table laid for supper, and after they had eaten, went to rest. The next morning, the old man came to them and said, I am John the evangelist. For the love of Edward, I will not fail you, and you shall arrive safe and sound in England. Then go to Edward and say you have brought a ring which gave to me at the dedication of my church. When I besought him in a poor array, and tell him that in 6 months he shall come to me in paradise. The pilgrims came back to England without misadventure and gave the ring back to Edward with St. John's message. When the king heard that he was soon to die, he gave away all his money to those in need and passed and pass his time in devotion. And that's basically the story of the ring. So that's the legend that you have come to know. And the ring has then been given away, obviously, after the death of King Edward, and where it has fallen is obviously into your gentlemanly hands.
Mm.
Well, do you share all that?
Yeah, as much as like, if I rolled an 8, just like
Yeah, you rolled an 8.
like that.
Yeah, you probably have
Alright.
you probably
So, like-
remove the pomps, but yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm imagining this like montage of like us walking through bazaars and stuff like that, and like you're like going on this amazing, kind of whispered legend, and like at the end, say like, I see. So, cursed to part with all my wealth. Here you go, and I flip you my last silver dollar. Thanks for your story.
So I'm like,
Can I be, if we're gonna walk through the bazaar, can I have the ring the whole time?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not.
I mean, I thought you still had it from charging it.
It's fine. Can I try to
I was
mar it?
actually hoping to take it back for use in looking for places of power. But if you wanted to inspect it partially and then give it back, like basically when we get close, I'm gonna want to use it to try and find some sympathy.
It's fine. Can I try and mar it with my tooth?
Like bite it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you bite it, it acts like metal. Doesn't give or anything like that, if that's what you're after.
I mean, if it's gold, you would expect it to actually be damaged when biting it.
It's not all gold. It's, you wouldn't know the carat of it unless you took like you broke it down or anything like that. But it's not like soft gold. It's like probably within a carat range of 20, most likely. So it's pretty stable.
Okay. Can I? So the ring it has. Sorry, can you describe the ring one more time for me?
Sure. It's a gold ring with a red gem inlaid in the top. Very quite large, actually. It's about the size of a Super Bowl ring. The ones that get covered in diamonds and shit like that. It's about that size. The top is all ruby. So
I want to hold it up to the light and try and see if light splays through it in a bizarre way.
So the ruby itself is actually like fairly clear. It's quite a high, quite a high. I don't know what the clarity is. That the word you use for gemstones? Yeah, quite a high clarity gemstone.
Are you saying it's like light just kind of goes right through it? Like there's not a lot of.
There's not a lot of crossing and stuff like that, and it's not cut in a particular like prismatic way or anything like that. It's mostly just like a almost like flat on the ring with a little bit of like topper to it, but it's not like cut in any like prismatic way or nothing like that. There's no edges to it. It's mostly smooth.
Can I, only because it's the only opportunity I'm going to have to use my chemistry specialization, can I determine if the ring is of an earthly origin or something?
You want to know if it's like you want to take like a
Philosopher's
filament
stone or
scraping?
something.
Like is it carbon based or?
Are you focusing on the actual gemstone or on the gold? The gemstone? Okay. Sure, you can take like a scraping and maybe like spend some time doing it. How would you do it do you have like a kit that you sit down with real quickly while you're walking through the bazaar maybe? And
I'm not sure I even really need to do that. I've got maybe before we left, I kind of prepared a solution, and I basically this whole time I've been allowing it to react and see if anything happened.
Okay, sure. Give me a roll here. We'll make the difficulty here about I don't know, like an 8, I guess. Okay. So you're not specialized in this?
I am.
You are?
In chemistry, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, chemistry. All right. Yes, you are specialized. You have to be, right? So yeah. Okay. So we'll take the top one. 4 successes. that leaves you to understand that the ring is that of carbon base. It's not like it's alien of metal or anything like that. It's not like anything you haven't seen before.
Basically, it reacts as I would expect.
It
So,
would, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm ready to hand the ring over. I've done it. I've done all I could think of.
Yeah.
Well, if Gideon gets the ring back, it's like, okay, well, through the legend, it's either something to do with charity or the death of Christ. So we either need to find a tomb or power with charity.
But that sounds like, to me, based on the legend, we need to give it to somebody, like a statue or somebody. You know, we got to give it to.
Well, it's been given to us, just like the story had been given to someone else. We have to go to a place
Right.
to meet with divine beings and come back somewhere else. They went to like a place in the middle of the wilderness, the middle of nowhere. So I'll turn to Gideon and be like, is there anywhere remote that's giving off some weird vibes?
The magician with us.
I think he left a while ago.
He left a while ago. Yeah, he's not like he sat outside waiting for you guys to come out again. Like,
He's not with us.
I mean, you could find him again if you'd like, or you can.
We passed his bazaar stall where he's selling off his.
No, I like him as a character. My character hates him and does not trust him.
Yeah, we developed a magician call that we can use when we need it.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
He flaps down on his like magic carpet, like.
Lands in a splash of rabbits and doves.
So I attempt to sort of reach out psychically and just kind of look for anything strange, and if it up to and including the Temple of Solomon, which I think is our like overall destination, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's either the Temple of Solomon or the place where, like, the tomb where Jesus came back to life. Like, if there's if there's a life-giving quality to Hollow Earth, that might be a bet.
Yeah. That is.
It's a empathy roll according to the perk that I took,
Mhm.
the talent that I took rather. Do you want me to make that or wait until we get there?
Explain to me what you're reaching out for again.
I'm kind of looking to find if there's any kind of psychic sympathy with this ring that I can detect, or indeed if I get distracted by anything that seems psychically interesting, unrelated to the ring, that would probably grab my attention. Just at this point,
Okay.
I've been told this thing is not normal and it requires some sort of attunement with energy from beyond, and so like that's my job.
Okay, sure. So go ahead and make it. We'll say the difficulty is about a 7, I guess, for this.
Okay, all right.
Given, like, if someone else tried to do it, like reach out psychically, they not only wouldn't be able to do it, but it'd be incredibly difficult. So
Difficulty 10.
difficulty 10, yeah. But we'll go with 7.
Oh wait a minute, hold on. Sorry, something weird happened. It gave me the modifier when I did it.
Okay.
Trying again, but modifier is 0, right? I
Modifier
assume.
0, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Cool. Here we go.
Okay, so speciality, right? Yeah, you're specialized in empathy. I mean, you've.
I'm specialized in detect lies. There is no, you can't specialize in psychic anything. That's just the talent.
Okay, but you've got an asterisk there, so you've. Did you buy a second? Oh God, what did I call it? Sorry, yeah.
There is no, in the rules, there's no way to further specialize in psychic empathy. It's literally just, otherwise I wouldn't get the roll at all. So I think it's just 1 success.
Okay.
Or possibly 0. I'm not really sure how to read this.
Yeah, so specialization. So you can, yeah, so, okay. All right then. Yeah,
but if you want to read the psychic sensitivity thing, just in case, it's on 71.
71, okay.
Yep.
I mean, I have an idea of what you would see. I just want to see how, like, you make an empathy roll whenever your character tries to set sensitive energy around her. The more successes, the more sensitive your character. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. All right. So, you're reaching out, right? What are you thinking about? Like, what is your muse
to make to make your psychic connection work. You said you're reaching out into the ether, but like, is there any thoughts going through your mind? Like, what are you attempting to do here?
Yeah, so he doesn't know any particular relation between this ring and this city, but what he's saying to himself in his head is he tries to become the target of his mimicry. So he's saying, I am Saint Edward the Confessor. I lived thousands of years ago. I gave of my wealth so that others may prosper. You know, like this sort of like mantra of becoming Saint Edward, to the point where he might even start walking differently. His body language would open up, much less full of guile. He might even, like, if beggars are kind of approaching and that sort of thing, he would start like giving alms and whatever he's got. Like he really gets in. He's very method. So
I like that.
That's
yeah.
kind of what's going on.
Okay. And with your one success, like we see you, like your vision sort of like, it doesn't sort of like fade away to something else, but you sort of get like an overlay, right? Same place, same time. Things are a little greener, a little brighter. The sky is a lot less drab than it is in your time. It's a lot blue. Everyone around you is sort of wearing more appropriate clothing for the time, and we see your hand reach out to a man and just, you know, lay gold into his hand, like more gold than you could ever possibly own. Another man comes up, you give him more gold. Another man comes up, more gold. And eventually you start throwing gold out to like these people who are appearing like pigeons in front of you. You know, you stick your hand into a bag that's ever bigger, ever filled with gold. Like you keep throwing your gold out, but the gold keeps coming back into the bag. Like you can't give out your wealth, but you want to. Deep down, you want to. Inside of yourself, like all you want to do is upend this bag, and you do so, but the gold never stops coming out of this bag, and then you snap back, and you're standing there, maybe handing over like some sort of $5 bill or something like that to a man who's in front of you, and he runs away, and bowing and happy. But you're back, and the ring itself that you're holding is sort of warm to your touch, like not the warm that you know, Solomon did with his electricity, but warm like to the point where you're feeling like not so much like a charge going through it, but more like the ring has like helped you find a key or a clue, right? I imagine maybe this sort of sensation might have happened once or twice in your life. Like maybe you were holding like a dagger or something like that, and you got like like the feeling that, you know how you've ever like looked over a cliff and you felt the insatiable urge to like just leap off. It's similar to that, like when it comes to your psychic connections with objects in particular. Like maybe you've held a dagger before and you felt the urge to like plunge it into the chest of someone near you, and then the dagger will
kill every motherfucker in the room.
Yeah, then the dagger will feel warm in your hands afterwards. Like, you know, it's sort of like imposing something across to you. So that's the sort of sensation that you get from this ring. But on top of that, you also get the sensation that you want to like hand that ring off to another companion in your party. Like you just you don't want to have it anymore. It's not you don't own in this ring.
Okay, so I sort of like the idea that, like, you know, I've sort of stumbled over towards Francis, and like I was handing him a pair of handcuffs from inside my bag, and I just sort of freeze, and it's like, you know what? Perhaps take this instead. And I sort of like would take the ring off and like give it a try. And I take the handcuffs back kind of sheepishly and like look around. But you all can tell definitely that something has changed. Like there's a sort of beatific expression.
So while you were doing all this like psychic reaching, did anything change about you? Was it obvious to us that something was going on?
If you
I
have a
think it's pretty
slouch,
physically- yeah.
if you have a slouch, I imagine you didn't during this time. You seemed like a more like you sort of kind of almost walked like Charles walks around a little bit more pompously. You had purpose. Your stride was longer. Things like that. And it's probably pretty evident
So
to
it
you.
would have been obvious to us that his attitude just completely changed for like a minute there, and then he suddenly gives up the ring. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably really evident to you, Gideon, as to why the ring was lost.
Yeah.
Like, because
There's like a
people
sort
want to
of
give it away.
transitive impulse. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a bank shot. So I've moved on, because Degerius has already possessed it. So I'm trying Francis now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take it. Be like, okay, well, so like, can I consult the journal of like, was there something about the ring or like the entrance, or like a ritual that they did other than what Hans or
Conveniently, there's a whole chapter on it.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
actually.
Pokedex.
Welcome to the MacGuffin curse, where I have to tell you everything about things because you looked into the journal. So, what are you
Yeah.
trying to look for exactly? Just
well-
like what is like if you were to like go to the index and look up something, you know, or use the cipher or your memory of you reading the book back to back to back to back.
I think I keep on the track of like the place where a man was rumored to come back from the dead after days. Like,
Interesting. I mean, you read of stuff within the Hollow Earth of like a man like being gorged on a spear, and then like removing the spear and laying down in a river, and then coming out and like the blood has washed away and the hole is no longer there. But aside from that, like you don't get a whole lot of like surface world stuff. It's mostly stuff that you find within the Hollow Earth that.
yeah.
So does the journal like start in the Hollow Earth? That doesn't start with his.
No, it
adventures
starts with the
beforehand?
outside world. It tells of how they came to stumble into the entrance to Hollow Earth within the jungle itself.
So they were more stumbling rather than like actually seeking.
They were actually seeking to charge this ring, right? Like they had. The story goes that they attempted a lot of things to charge the ring.
Yeah, but they like Abernathy'd their way in. They
Basically,
just kind of like, oh, we're here.
yeah.
I take offense to that.
Avanathy the way. Yeah.
I'm surprised you understood it.
Yeah. So for the most part, like, yeah, you know, they were following the trail of charging the ring, and when they found the entrance to Hollow Earth. So whether they had the ring charged and they happen upon a gate already, that's sort of the conundrum that you guys are in right now. Like,
Yeah. Well, I think an account of a man coming in there with like the wounds that the rumors and stuff would describe would confirm my suspicions that we should go to that place or try to find it. And then
the deep in the jungle. Yeah, like unfortunately, like
the tomb.
oh, the tomb. Okay.
Yeah, like the tomb in Jerusalem.
Yeah, all right. That's pretty.
And then,
I mean,
like,
it
that's what I'd
it
be
sounds
thinking.
like an entrance to Hollow Earth, if anything else.
Yeah. And if the ring's already warm, that might be.
Oh no, sorry. Let me clarify. That was warm with psychic renaissance, basically. Like he's
Okay, so it's not physically warm.
no,
Not charged.
no. It's not like oh, being generous, charge the ring, time to go. It's more like he successfully spoke to the ring psychically, and the ring was warm because of it. So
Okay.
yeah, that's sort of like an inherent like property of him.
So is
psychically
the
tuning with it, so.
did the act of giving it away to someone do anything?
I mean, it feels like a ring in your hand. And
Okay,
this
well,
is
I'm
kind
still
of
gonna
the problem mentioned in the journal, right? Like
Yeah.
charging, like for all you
Doesn't-
know, striking it with electricity might have charged the ring, right?
How can you tell the difference between a charged battery and a dead battery just by holding it up and looking at it?
Exactly right. That's inherently the problem.
Lick it.
So.
Is there a way to proverbially lick this battery?
I mean, you could lick. Graham
see if
already stuck it in his mouth. So
Let's see if it floats.
I mean,
Well, I think I'm just gonna like.
maybe Solomon has a test to see if it's inert or not inert. Like maybe
think
there's
I'm
something
gonna-
along those lines that can do that. You know.
I'm gonna keep going with my suspicions of like trying to find this tomb because like that legend was like pretty clear that we have to get lost, meet up with some people, and do something else. But also the tomb where a dead man was raised kind of speaks to the fountain of youth and the healing properties of this place. So
All I'll say is for the process of time and helping you guys along a little bit, you're on the right track, right? The tale of the ring follows a very specific course, and
yeah,
the journal itself followed that course for the most part too. You know.
yeah. So I'm just gonna go and try to find that place, and we're probably gonna get lost on the way there. So that'll fulfill it anyway. Like the second part of the story.
Yeah, so going. Let me reiterate in case some because I want to help. You guys are intelligent and your characters are thusly so. So basically, the point of the tale was that the ring traveled. It's not so much that the ring changed hands, but the ring traveled. It saw places. It was filled with the energies of new locales and stuff like that, but also the act of being lost in itself, stumbling through a jungle, they found their way home, right? So inherently, that's sort of the tale of the ring.
That's a
Mhm.
brilliant point, Woodbury. Thank you.
Yeah.
He kind of comes in. He's been like peeking over.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put the ring on anyway. See if it does anything.
Yeah. Have you been a very material man before?
Not really. I've been a student most of my life, so most of my life has been student life
Yeah.
on a
You
budget.
you feel like your clothes are chafing you. Like you suddenly aware of how low thread count your clothing is.
Oh, I thought you were like your clothes are chafing. I'm like, I'm just gonna take them off then.
No, it's less about that and more about like you don't feel like you're living up to your expectations of yourself. And wouldn't it be nicer if you treated yourself to some silks?
Hmm. I think I might be connecting myself to the poor man in the legend, like the person of rags.
Maybe.
So I'm just gonna like,
He got ring peasant crabs. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
dang.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well,
your interest is less on finding this thing and more of giving yourself a much needed change of wardrobe.
do I feel like a royal wardrobe would be more fitting?
No, just something better than
Something better.
wool.
Am I conscious enough about this and like the change that happened to be able to tell someone, or not really?
What's your willpower?
3.
Why don't you give me a willpower roll?
Oh shit. 5.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we'll just make it a 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Save versus
Damn.
fabulous.
Yeah. So yeah, like you sort of like you put the ring on, and it was almost just like how like sometimes you touch something and your skin crawls.
Yeah.
It's a
Maybe
little
I
like
do
that.
it a few times. I like put it on, and then all of a sudden my clothes started weird, and I'd take it off.
It's not like
Like-
instantaneous thing. In fact, taking off the ring, it doesn't make it go away. You know, you still feel the
Oh.
need to make a purchase of some descript, but you don't feel like, you know, after, like, if you walk with it off, you feel less of that over time. Like it goes away, like it subsides, but it's not an instantaneous thing.
So I'll walk with it off for a little bit, and then I'll walk with it on for a little bit, and see just like empirical, like scientific method testing this.
I mean, with a willpower check of 3 successes, yes, you can make that imperial testing. It seems that putting the ring on itself makes you feel the need to remove wealth from yourself,
Okay, then
giving you different dispositions and stuff. So it's an interesting ring, right? The fact that these, like, this is like, you know, maybe it kind of reminds you a little bit of being like having like a gambling high almost to a degree as well. Like, you know, other than that, like, you can't really put a sensation to it. And, you know, maybe with your willpower check, you also have an inherent understanding as to why this ring has never been found again, because it keeps, you know, people want to give it away the moment that they put it on. So
I think I'll just take it off and give it to Hyde. Like, you try.
yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure how he would respond, but he's seen everyone passing around this ring. Everyone seems to be putting it on and taking it off.
Yeah.
So he'd probably take it and just slip it on and see what happens.
All right. Yeah. Give us a willpower check. Same thing, 5 difficulty.
It's -2 on the dice pool, right?
Yeah. Ooh, okay, interesting. Yeah. So, have you ever had wanderlust?
Sure.
Like, you feel the need to have a sea change or anything like that before?
I'm a gypsy. It's in my blood.
So, you know, you feel that, especially your companions, are weighing you down, and your belongings are weighing you down. You don't need them.
I mean, they help me kill people. Everything Hyde owns is directly related to him being better at his job.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need your job anymore.
No, I can kill people with my bare hands if I have to.
Exactly, right? Exactly. And what better way to kill people than, you know, with their weapons? So, you know, like, you suddenly, like, this ring, you're with a willpower success of 1, you know, you do understand that there is and after witnessing people passing the ring around and stuff like that, you feel the inherent properties take effect on you, right? And you are aware that you are a very talented individual. So, you know, the fact that, you know, you rely so heavily on your weapons and stuff like that is apparent. But more importantly, like, you need to, this place is, you've seen enough of it. You know?
There's nothing to kill here.
Exactly. Well, I mean, there's, yes, but...
Oh, there's plenty of things to kill, but I'll get in trouble, and that's... Trouble slows me down.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
We don't observe any obvious change in him, I assume.
Maybe a quickening of pace. Aside from that, not much.
Did Francis share with the rest of us the idea that the journal is referring to traveling to charge the ring?
Francis?
I was going by the legend, the legend of the ring, where it's like traveling and getting lost on purpose. I think like doing the point to point kind of like they were lost, they were trying to do a thing and they didn't know how, but then all of a sudden they just found their way in.
Gideon says, well, perhaps we should proceed to the temple. That's at least a destination. If we find nothing further there, no special person to give the ring to, we can contemplate our next destination.
Wait, don't I get to put on the ring?
I
Everyone
mean,
else has had to go.
Hyde has still got it on, so if he wants to give it to you, he can.
Mr. Hyde?
Do I feel any kind of desire to keep or give the ring? Because I know, like, I feel the desire, like, I don't really need my weapons. I don't really need my tools and things. Do I feel like I need the ring?
No. It's a part
No?
of your belongings. You feel the inherent need to give them away.
He's gonna be Gollum.
I might be Gollum.
This, I mean, if anything, like, the ring is heavy, man. Like, it impedes.
Big ring.
It's a big ring. Yeah.
It's on my, like, below my trigger finger. It gets in the way. And I mean, he asked for it. I think it'd just be like, yeah, okay, here you go. Whatever, take it.
Yeah. You also offer him your belt at the same time.
Oh, thank you.
You see Gideon like in the background now, like he's been watching the group, standing as far back as he could while sticking with you. You sort of see him like weakly go like, "What? Perhaps."
Would Bree take this, please?
The
Belt.
ring?
The belt.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Doc, sorry, Jonathan. With your willpower roll being as low as it is, you feel this way for a very long time, actually. Like, you feel like the need to, lighten your load is primarily the thing that you're focused on.
To be fair, he does carry a lot of things with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at it, I've probably got the heaviest load of everybody here.
I would say so, yeah. Whether you sell off your belongings to further your travels is up to you. So what do you do with the ring, Charles?
Put it on. Everyone else is doing it. Why not?
All right. So you, of all people, I'm not even going to ask for a willpower check from you because I don't think it's worthy of deserve. What is your what is your flaw?
Absent-mindedness,
Yes,
I believe.
100%. Yes. So take a star point for this,
Okay.
because this is going to affect you in a large way.
I do have full willpower.
It doesn't matter. This is your flaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jolly good.
Have you ever been in like a gentleman's poker tournament with large stakes before?
Absolutely.
What was the
They're
largest?
very kind. Taught me how to play it.
What was the largest stake betted at this event that you were at?
Woodbury.
I was going to say that, but I wouldn't have Woodbury if that was true. Okay. So I think
This is Woodbury the second.
so. I think
not so much
be...
you, but like what was someone else's bet? Maybe the largest thing that you've seen.
I'd say probably thousands of pounds.
Okay,
which would be quite a lot. But I did. Charles did once lose a bet of about 6 or 7 barrels of brandy.
So right now, you feel like the one thing that you want above all else, and you get what you want in a lot of cases, is you want to start anew. So you wish to give up your lordship. You wish to give up your family name. You wish to see the world from the perspective of a man who has nothing, because you've only ever had everything.
Okay.
And to you, this is like a sudden epiphany that you've had your whole life, but now only realized for no reason whatsoever. There was no catalyst for this. You had this idea all by yourself.
Right. Well then, Woodbury, it's been an honor having you as my manservant. You are now free to do as you please.
So Woodbury will sort of look at you like dumbfounded and be like, "Are you all right, sir?"
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Gentlemen, it's been an honor traveling with you. I go off to see the world. Farewell. And I walk off.
Yeah. So Woodbury's just kind of like, he turns back to you, Francis, and maybe even you, Gideon. He's like, "What is it that he put on? What was that?"
That ring makes you want to give up everything. And our friend,
Just gave him everything.
we need to keep an eye on him.
Let's go get him.
Perhaps we
Yeah.
need to follow him. He's now an itinerant saint.
This is true. As much as
I
I hate to admit it, it's true.
Here you go, filthy man. Have a belt.
This is where the musical number comes in, and you just like see a scene of Abernathy.
Young boy,
like,
what
shaking out
day
his
is
wallet
it
over a bunch of
today?
people.
It's Christmas Day. It's not too late, Woodbury. Woodbury, it's not too late.
Sorry, I meant to mute just there. Whew, that's good.
That's
This is good.
yeah.
You're right. The music is definitely rising.
You know what? Take another style point, Sheepy. That was
Thank you.
that was that was perfect. So yeah, I guess
Look under your stalls. You get a car, and you get a car.
yeah. So I guess
Can I try to lure him back here?
lure
I'm
him?
not coming back. You're gonna have to use force to stop me.
Ooh. I go. I try and like try and like intercept him at a later time. I say, "I'm very poor. I have exactly 0 rings."
Oh, you poor man. God, you're filthy. Have a shoe. And I take off my shoe and give it to him.
You also feel the insatiable urge to give up the ring too.
I dropped the ring.
You
Like,
dro-
I just fell off my finger as I walked away. It's back there.
Oh, okay. Well,
Paid no attention to the thing. I'm just wandering off. I did give him my shoe though, and I'm still walking off.
Good.
yeah.
I'm gonna add that one.
So Woodbury's like, perhaps I'll look after Charles while he has his internal spat. Shall we meet in a few hours?
Whatever.
Come along, Woodbury, but stay there. You're free now.
He'll like take the shoe off of you, Solomon, and be like, he'll probably want this in an hour or 5. And then he'll like follow you at a distance, kind of like, you know, when like maybe your dad did this when he was younger. He like had servants follow you, but at a distance, so you wouldn't know that you were being protected. Definitely. It's like, go son, be free, and then you're like, sweet, and you ran off, but you still have like anyone that wanted to approach you was approached by men in a suit before they got to you, sort of thing, but you never noticed, you know, that sort of thing. So you can go cause mischief, but you can't get in trouble, essentially. It's what Woodbury's doing.
Sounds good to me.
So, yeah, and you have this. Give me a willpower check right now. We'll see how long this lasts without a ring being attached to your finger.
Is there any dice pool modifier?
-2, and this is at 5 difficulty. So, wow. So you maybe get like 10 minutes deep before you realize that you are your material wealth.
Woodbury, track down that filthy man and get my belt back.
Yeah.
Whip him if you have to.
It's not even his belt.
All right. So yeah, you guys continue on, and I guess a certain lord will join you in about 10 minutes' time. So
Yeah,
Where's my bloody shoe?
it doesn't matter if it was his belt or not. He's net one belt.
Yeah.
he's not one belt.
I didn't get rich giving belts away, for God's sake.
All right.
All right,
So
so I bring this ring back, and I'm like, all right, let me here.
you sure you don't want to put it on, Solomon? Everyone else has had a chance.
I saw a lot of weird stuff during that whole scene, so I'm very careful to put it on.
Yeah, now that you've seen all this, there's probably a good reason why the ring was in a envelope, not on the man's finger.
Can I put it in my jacket pocket?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Yeah.
Did you give me the ring?
What ring?
You asked for it,
I
Sheepy.
think we should
You asked for it.
fight him and take the ring.
Of course Charles was going to ask for the ring.
All right. So what's the plan, gentlemen? You want to try and still get into the temple?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned before that you the place you're trying to get to is called Temple Mount or Haram al Sharif, as the natives call it. So what is your approach? You said you wanted to go the British side.
Well, the British are holding the religious sites, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes, but there's also conflicts that you could approach from the other side as well. It depends which way you want to go.
I think we should go easy mode.
I feel like going through the British would be easiest for us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially with some of us currently not feeling very well.
I rolled really well on my willpower. You're not feeling well.
Yeah, you're the one. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. You're the one that you feel okay about giving up your belt. That's fine. Yeah, like that's.
Yeah, but if I give away my
willpower.
guns, things are gonna go really bad later.
I don't think. I think if anything, like your inherent attachment to them is probably stopping you from doing it. I'm not going to be like, okay, you give away your guns and then we move to another country. I'm not going to do that. Like, no, definitely not. So, but yeah, you
give your
definitely
guns-
fight the urge for that. So
You give your guns directly to Francis the Great and he turns them on you.
I turned them into flowers. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. How are you? What are you approaching? Just an MP? How are you going about it?
We have
Am I? Are they waiting for me to come back and be in my right mind, or?
I mean,
Are they
you eventually
going on
make your way.
without me?
It's 10 minutes worth of time. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hand wave that however you want.
I imagine I'd walk up and be like, "Attention!" to just general.
An MP
No.
or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. They look at you like, I'm sorry, what, mate? Like, yeah.
Fucking what, mate?
You're not in any regalia or uniform or anything like that, so...
I am Lord Charles Cromwell Abernathy, agent of the Crown. You will stand at attention when I tell you to, young man.
and then the gentleman, blocking the way to Jerusalem proper, he'll come up to you and say, "Papers?"
Woodbury? Wait, Woodbury? Yes, Woodbury.
Yeah. So he'll hand over your papers. Now, what exactly denotes you as like a servant of the crown specifically? Like, do you have like a MI6 membership? Like, what does that look like exactly?
Secret Dakota ring.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah.
It's basically very like Charles doesn't really know exactly what it is, but it's very official looking paperwork signed by the head of the MI6 and probably co-signed by the king or something like that, I imagine.
Interesting. Okay.
And I would imagine it's a bit above this dude's pay grades. But
I mean,
you know,
that's kind of the problem, right? Like, not
yeah.
MPs of the British Armed Forces aren't going to recognize imperial signets and stuff like that. So you know, maybe he'll see this paperwork and he'll be a little dumbfounded and he'll be like, "I'm going to have to get this checked." You understand that?
Well, yes. Run along, old chap, and do hurry back. I can't. We can't wait all day.
Yeah. So, and he's like, "There's no rush," and he'll leave.
There is a rush. Rush, please.
So he'll leave, leaving the MP at the guard gate by himself, and he actually like unslings his gun and puts it at a ready, sort of thing.
I will inspect his gear.
What is
Are
that?
you looking for a shoelace tied incorrectly that you can chastise
Yeah.
him for?
What do
Yeah,
you-
basically
okay.
looking to dress him down.
I mean, I don't need a roll from this if you just want to, abash a fucking NPC.
This bayonet is filthy. I want you to clean it as soon as you're off duty. Not regulation.
So what is everyone else doing while Charles is like, demeaning a soldier?
Wait. We're with him.
Yeah.
Are you
Pro- Probably waiting at a bit of a distance, but waiting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, prior to like when he sort of parts from us, I'm sort of whispering to Francis, if this thing is a key, it would seem that in order to access the Hollow Earth, one must not want to get there. And he's kind of like musing about the fact that the ring seems to want to get dropped and thrown anywhere but go to its home.
I'd whisper back, it's like, and that's going to be a challenge because each of us wants to get there.
Maybe that's inherently the property of like Hollow Earth, right? Only those who aren't like those who seek it probably go mad trying to find it, right? Like, as you've probably already come across, especially maybe even Francis, you were close to madness a little bit, being disbarred and removed from your circles of
I think that was one of like the key, like the primary forces of getting me out of there is like, you're not sound of mind. You should get help before completing your doctorate. Like they didn't even like really force me out, but it seemed like me like, fuck you, you think Hollow Earth is real? Just get out.
Yeah.
But they're more gentle about it. They're like, no, you should seek help before you come back.
Yeah.
As we approach, like he stops because now he's talking to the MP, but like Gideon positions his body just so that you can sort of see in his mirrored shades the reflection of Woodbury. Because he neither wants to be here particularly, nor has he worn the ring.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I think Hyde's probably pacing. He's wandering down side streets and entering stores and wandering back out again. He's not standing still. He wants to keep moving.
Can you try whistling aimlessly? See if that helps.
Yeah. It actually takes a very long time. Like, you guys are going through the due process, right? Even with official paperwork, like coming here through the checkpoints wasn't so bad, but going into Jerusalem proper, it seems like the correct way of going about things does take time.
Fun. Is this too long? I have a rather robust bureaucracy skill.
I mean, talking to the MPs isn't going to, like, throwing bureaucracy at an MP isn't going to get you anywhere, right? Like, that sort of skill would be perfect on, like, say, someone who's trying to paperwork you down, I imagine. Or maybe even, like, confuse. Like, I would say that's a perfect thing if you wanted to, say, confuse the MP to get him to do something. That's a perfect way of doing it. But it wouldn't help speed the due process up, right? That in terms of what is being done, it's being done off screen, essentially. So if you were to have followed that MP with your papers, on the other hand, you could probably have helped there. But
that's fine. Assuming that we were not identified as being with him yet.
No, you haven't been identified as being. He walked up there with Woodbury on his own accord, right? So, if anything,
right.
The only thing you're in breach of is loitering at this point. So.
That's fine. I'm going to attempt to waltz inside.
Okay. Let's get
I
a
will keep
distraction.
shouting at the.
Yeah. Let's get a distraction roll from our main man, British Lord Columbia.
Um,
So what do you have in terms of skills?
I was gonna say, could it be intimidation more than distraction? Because I'm not actively trying to distract him. I'm literally just in military commander mode, dressing down a private.
Well, let's get a little bit of backstory here. How often? What was your military service like?
Um, I've
A
been
lot of
trying
getting
to.
yelled at.
Well, no, he was an officer in the British Army. For
You
a
don't
good.
seem like the type. You don't seem like the drill sergeant type. That's all I'm saying. So
They never do, to be
Well,
fair.
yeah, it's been a while, but the instinct kicks in once you're presented with.
okay. So did you do any like? Were you the type where maybe you were called in to train troops? Like, do you have any specialization in the army that you were like particularly like called upon to help train young people for?
No, it was more. He was more in charge of like blind, ferocious charges that are doomed to fail.
So you were more like hearts and minds sort of general than say,
Mm.
okay. And what was your approach in like if were you like so you? I'm assuming this is just me assuming you were
Yeah.
the type of general to say train your troops to respond to whistles, like a trainer, like a dog trainer almost. Like you want them to be to charge right when you blow the whistle for it. So
Yeah.
what was your approach like there? Because if it was to literally just demean a soldier until he gets to the point of, you know, just a clay that you can mold in whatever image you want, which is assume what a drill sergeant does, then I would be okay with that. But if you go about it a different way, then I would say that it still needs to be a distraction role. I mean, what
Well,
I'm saying
it was-
is this is the distinction between you doing what you've been trained to do and you doing something in order to make it so that another PC can do something else.
Yes. Well, he was more kind of shouty with no direction, and the drill sergeants were the ones, so he'd shout about things, and then the drill sergeants would actually get things done, and then he'd lead the charge.
Are you
So
the
he
give me
was
your war face? That isn't your war face kind of shouty, like nonsense.
more like oh God, there's not enough tea. The uniforms need to be shinier. This kind of. I really want to see those the presentation, and then the drill sergeants would go around actually training everyone. He's just a shout. He was just a shouty officer.
Okay. All right then. Well, in that case, I think a distraction role is
False.
more than intimidation.
Okay.
If you had said to me that you were the type to step in and train soldiers yourself, but it sounds like you were the type to get under the skin of the drill sergeants who then would get under the skin of their soldiers, right? Like
Yeah.
that, like you were more of a hero, like you would piss off the people that pissed off the soldiers, sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so distraction. The skill for that, I believe, is charisma. Let me just double check. Let's see. Yeah,
I
so
do have.
we'll go with charisma. What do you have, sir?
I was going to say I do have performance, but I'm really not performing at all. Because again, I'm not consciously trying to distract them from this. I'm just.
We'll go with a charisma -2, difficulty 6. To distract the man enough for Solomon to just waltz in, unbeknownst. Okay, cool, yeah. He's distracted enough to allow you in, Solomon. I don't know about the rest of you. But Solomon, you can just walk in, no problems.
Okay. What's in it? What's in there? Like right.
Once you get past like the gate, there are a lot more soldiers walking around. There's probably this entire place has been pretty much like if I had to put in a direction as to where you guys are coming from, like I would say that you're coming from the Joppa gate, which is Mamilla Road going into David Street through like a checkpoint. So on your left, you have the Christian Quarter, and on your right, you have the Armen Quarter. So essentially, what you've sort of walked into is basically like a security checkpoint. There are like a house that's been taken over. There's a British royal flag flying at the edge of the home. But further in you go, the less soldiers you might see in larger clumps, but they're still there.
Okay. So my idea is to go to who's in charge and kind of legally speak my way to get them in here with me.
Okay. Let's get what is your understanding of who's in charge when it comes to military? Is it the most shiny uniform? Like, what is it?
The person who's acting like they're in charge.
Okay, so you'd go specifically on who's acting. All right. So yeah, there's a man over there who's essentially, pointing soldiers in different directions and stuff like that.
All right, I'll go ask him. Are you in charge?
He just sort of look at you and is like, "Who might I be speaking to, chap?"
Dr. Solomon, from England. Not originally, but from there now.
Are you a recruit? Are you here to offer your services to the British Crown?
As you can see, I'm no longer fit for duty.
It doesn't matter. We mostly need off-field medics anyway. So come with me, Doctor. I'll find a place for you.
Yay.
So do you follow him?
Sure.
Yeah, he leads you to like a mess tent. He'll stop at the door and he's like, "It's kind of weird that we are taking wounded soldiers in at this point, but there has been an uprising here, as you can imagine, and we've had some."
I came here with some fellow able-bodied men outside there waiting to get in. Will you fetch them for me? They're perfectly capable and probably more so than I am.
Can I get? Are you lying? Because it sounds like you're lying. Are you lying about them coming in to be your assistants?
Not my assistants. I'm saying that if he's going to make me a soldier, they're probably more capable than I am.
Okay. Let's get a You said you have diplomacy?
A bureaucracy.
A bureaucracy. Interesting. Are you specialized in any way in bureaucracy?
Nope.
No? Okay. Yeah, let's get a bureaucracy because that falls under military stuff. So let's get that one of those rolls for me, please. Difficulty 6. Okay. Yeah, 3 successes. So he was sort of looking and was like, "I wasn't aware that we were getting reinforcements." So he'll like grab an NP and he'll be like, "Which gate did you say they were at?"
That one.
He just pointed out. It's like, "There's apparently some gentlemen waiting on the other side of that gate. Be a good chap and make sure they come in here and we find a good place for them to work." And the MP will sort of like look at you both and nod, and he'll run up to the gate. So he'll turn back to you and say, "Well, as you can see, we've taken a lot of damage, casualties. It seems that the Aborigines here have, they're a lot more violent than we first anticipated."
Well, so be it. No real comment on the matter. I'm just here to fix the fix the wounded.
So he'll turn to like he'll grab a doctor and be like, "Get this man washed up. He's here to help." And the other doctor will look at you up and down and is like, "You have one arm. That must be. How does that work?" And then the MP will leave. We go back to the other group outside. An MP will like your man that you're belligerating right now, Charles.
Belligerating.
Yeah, belligerating. Yeah.
Belligerating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a word.
So it's a military term.
It's a military term. You wouldn't understand. You're not a British man of
I
intelligence.
prime field medic for the British Army.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So he will. He's on the point of like now he's just like straight looking forward. He's not really like he's trying not to pay attention to you. But he will come up and another MP will say to him, "Is like, oh, I've been instructed to let these men in. Apparently they're reinforcements for the British forces."
There's me in the background.
Yeah, there's a magician over there. There's a all reinforcements. So
Sure. Brilliant.
um,
Take me to the commanding officer. Thank you.
he'll sort of turn and look to you and is like, I assume that you're the commanding officer then of the reinforcements.
As is.
All right, and he'll sort of like wave to the rest of the group. Do you come up after the MP waves?
I don't see a salute, soldier.
See what you're going to belliger the other guy too?
Yeah. He's a British soldier. He needs discipline. Discipline, man. Discipline.
All right, so instead of waving you over, you guys just see another MP coming up and basically standing at attention next to the previous one. And
Yes, that's very well. Report.
Charles goes back to belligerent these guys.
I think I'll just walk by and just like, yeah, reporting.
So he'll say, "Sir, if you allow me, I'll take the recruits and yourself to the man in charge."
Absolutely, man. Hop, hop, hop. Double time.
So he'll hop, and make his way in. And with that, I think we take another break. Yeah?
Okay.
You're being essentially, I guess, brought in to a British commanding officer's tent, and a man turns around, goes, and he's like full regalia, medals on the chin, hat, shoulder insignias, that sort of stuff. I'm not familiar with the specific coat of arms when it comes to the British forces, so I'll allow you all to use your imaginations to come up with a pulpy, idea of what that means. So he'll he's got like, I imagine he's got like a riding whip for some reason with him.
Yeah.
And he tucks it under his arm and he's like, "Attention, soldiers. Do you guys attend? Hut?
No.
No?
I'll step forward and say, what rank is he?
Higher than you, probably.
I don't have a military rank anymore. I'm in the intelligence agency.
Probably a commander. I don't know. Like, see, that's the thing. You asked. I just said I'm not familiar with him, and you're like,
oh,
what
you said
rank is he?
you said like an emblem or something. I thought you meant like you said coat of arms.
Yeah. All right. Let me look this up just so I can appease your curiosity. British Army.
I think he just wants to know if he can tell the guy to fuck off or not.
Well, more I was going to address him by his rank because I don't know his name, and
He didn't introduce
This is
himself.
probably
Very
Colonel.
ungentlemanly.
This is probably a colonel.
Yes. Okay. Colonel, I am Lord Charles Cromwell Abernathy, MI6 agent, agent to the Crown.
Ah, yes. Where are your papers?
They were sent ahead of me with an MP.
He like looks around and is like, I don't see them.
They should have been brought to you. What kind of ship are you running here?
Lacking discipline.
Lacking discipline.
Lacking discipline.
And like, oh, you're not even there.
From
From way.
yeah, from the other side of the
Lacking discipline.
yeah. It's like, well, I do apologize. Soldiers tend to get lost. Well, that doesn't excuse anything really, but I hear you are you're the what's the word?
That's right.
Yes, that is my rank.
Yes.
Actually.
It's just reinforcing
Hi.
You're the
Nom, nom, nom,
reinforcements
nom.
that were sent by the crown.
that's just reinforcing my image of him as John Cleese in a army uniform.
Do the silly walk.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we're on an important mission for the crown.
Actually, that's a perfect. Yes,
It is, right?
it is.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It is like John Cleese. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we're on an important mission from the crown. We can afford you some assistance.
Oh, well,
I imagine if you'd like it.
anything for the kingdom.
Brilliant.
What is it
you-
that you're on? What can you tell me?
Oh, it's all hush hush. Know what I mean? But wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
He'll raise an eyebrow at this and he'll be like, "Hmm."
I'll pipe up.
So there is a certain dance that gets done by the officers in the British Army. You're probably familiar with it. It's more like it's more of a courtesy than it is anything else. Like just you coming in here and being like, "Hush, hush! I'm from the Queen. Do what I say." Like
King.
You're sorry. In a lot of those cases, they would prefer you need to make them feel important, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
And-
in a lot of ways, like he'll sort of raise an eyebrow and he's like, "Well, I can't bloody well help you if you don't give me something."
Oh, absolutely. But rank and file need to know. Gentlemen, why don't you have a wander about? You're dismissed for now.
And then
This is
and,
turning
I'm
around.
wandering off immediately.
at
Same.
that moment, the MP comes in and goes, "Sir, there's some people outside," and then he looks up and sees you, and he's like, "Ah."
How did I get here before you, you horrible little man? Come on, hand the papers over.
Yeah. So he'll hand the papers over. So are you guys leaving Lord Charles to his own devices?
Already left.
Yep.
He's in his elements.
Okay. Well, let's just swap over real quickly to Solomon. Solomon, are you agreeing to work on these injured people?
Has my party come to find me yet, or?
They would probably at this point maybe potentially see you working in a mess tent. I mean, you're hard to
Yeah.
miss being one
That's
armed and all that.
exactly what Gideon's looking for. He's like,
I'll whistle.
okay.
So you probably if are you where how deep are you? Are you getting scrubbed up to do surgery? Like, what are you doing?
Sort of making a show of things. Just kind of waiting for my party to come.
You go to wash your hands and you hold up your one hand and then oh, of course, and someone will come over and scrub your elbow and hand and stuff like that up and help you get prepped for surgery essentially.
Of course, with my medicine skill of 11, making a show of things is actually doing minor surgery.
Yeah, his busy work is actually saving lives.
Yeah.
Does he have an attractive and scantily clad nurse working with him? Preferably busty.
Sure. I mean, probably
No.
not.
I was willing to spend style points on it.
I was gonna say not scantily clad, but the stereotypical heroine
That's what I meant.
of this era. Not so much busty or anything like that, but I'm just imagining the empowering female lead is probably if this was an army movie, this would be someone who wanted to help out because their husband was in the army as well, and she
Kate Winslet.
Sure. Yes. Perfect. That's a great analogy. So she's
So I'm
helping
looking
you
at
get scrubbed up.
this first guy, I'm like, okay, what am I looking at? Nurse.
He was shot 3 times, twice in the leg and 1 in the torso. We believe that his liver has been ruptured.
All right, take that 2x4 over there, lean it across both sides, put pressure right here, and let me. Daddy's got to go to work.
Did you say that to her? And that she lights your cigar while you're working on it.
Yeah.
So give me a medicine check, just out of curiosity. We'll make this an 8, I guess, because you're attempting like basically surgery. So, all right, you're not specialized in this, so 3 successes. Yeah. You go about like extending the man's life, but a ruptured liver is like not like, it's more a case of like prolonging the inevitable than it is, outright saving a man from death.
It may be enough.
It's enough to get him home and give him a Purple Heart.
It's my hope to get him home at least.
Yeah.
So that's done. Okay, next.
Yeah. So you go through.
Gideon, there you are.
Yeah. You're on your second surgery at this point before Gideon rocks up and he's just
Gideon, unable to lie, kind of really awkwardly walks over to you and says, "I have a recent wound. Please look at it and then come not here." And he points to the wound that you gave him with the square inch of missing skin. And he just sort of stands there waiting for you to cover.
The nurse will turn to you and push you away and be like, did you give your name? Did you give your name?
What was that?
I gave it to the leader guy.
Okay, but you didn't give it to your nurse attendant?
No, I didn't feel it was necessary.
The doctor is busy right now. You're going to have to wait. Outside the tent, preferably.
That's fine. Nurse, put him in the, just get him in line, put him in the row.
She like looks at you, she's like, there are dying men here and you
want
to...
Stutter.
No.
Put him in the row.
Okay, so she sits you down next to a man whose half his face is burnt off, and he's sitting there just like wheezing, and you just sit down next to him and like, I don't know, rub your shoulder, emphasize that you've been hurt. So yeah.
Yes.
I'll save lives until I get down to him.
Yeah. Okay. What is the rest of you doing now that you're free of Charles?
Don't say it like that.
I'm walking around to try to find like the paintings or like the higher, like the temple rooms, I guess, because this is a holy site. So
this is a whole city in here, right? You're inside of the wall. The temple area is like another segregated area within inside this. So right now you're at the entrance, the furthest you can. Like if you followed this road, you'd get to if you followed it, you'd come across a cross street. There's a bunch of like a big main way, and you'd pass through like different quarters with different homes to different types of people, religious mostly, and then you'll get to the temple area if you follow this road.
Well, that's where I'm headed then. Looking like I'm supposed to be there.
Okay.
Or like walking like I'm supposed to be there.
Following this road, you do see a lot of I guess they're like sort of like homes, people that are sort of under lock and key for the most part. Like they seem to be almost like the British here are jailers. Like that's sort of the impression that you're getting. Like within sort of the Jewish quarter and the Christian quarter, they're all sort of, for the most part, self-sufficient in there. Like there's little small plots of farms, like little tiny like gardens and stuff like that people could live off and stuff like that. But, they're not free to move around like you'd expect in a normal city.
Mm-hmm.
Crown rule, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, if there are prisoners here, then I'm supposed to treat them like prisoners, and I probably won't look and just keep walking.
Yeah. So yeah, you come across to the you pass by what is essentially referred to as the Wailing Wall. So you see a lot of Jewish people in prayer, and a lot of them are crying, wailing as it were, on this on a wall that connects to the temple quarter of this of Jerusalem itself, and because they're not allowed inside, that place has been pretty much locked, and you find that to be that way when you arrive as well.
There's no like checkpoint or way to get in there?
No, it has been for the most part barred of entry.
I'm thinking like big metal gate sort of thing, like that's actually sealed.
I would say more like wooden than metal.
Okay.
So, but it's like, you know, big log wooden thing. So it's not like something you could just burn down or whatever. So,
Are there guards nearby?
um,
They just locked it and left.
they just locked it and left for the most part. Yeah, like the walls are the temple walls to the what did I call it? I called it something like sorry, the Temple Mount. Yeah. So the Temple Mount area is completely barred off, and the walls are high, and it would take a effort to get inside if you wanted to.
Is that like the only way in, or is it like kind of a
Well, that you've investigated, yeah. You just followed the road up to here, so
yeah?
there
Well,
might be other areas to get in.
I'll walk along and try to find another entrance to see if there's anything else.
So you walk along the wall, you enter the another quarter here, and this is like the Arabic quarter. But for the most part, this particular quarter seems empty of life, almost like they've been moved out of the quarter, outside of the city, and maybe you see a couple of stragglers like hiding, like maybe people looking at you from outside windows and that sort of stuff. You do come across another entrance, and it's pretty much the same deal here as it was previously.
But there's less people here.
I mean, yeah, they're not wailing on the walls, if that's what you mean. It's definitely different than how it was when you passed by the Jewish quarter. Yeah.
I have style points. What can I do with them?
So style points can be spent in a couple of ways. The first is bonus dice. You could boost a talent, you could reduce damage, and then there's plot opportunities as well. So ideally, if you're looking for a plot opportunity, I would say for three plot style points, I'll give you a lead if you're looking for one.
All right, I've got 3 style points.
Okay, cool. So
Let's do it.
you see, like, maybe you get the crawling sensation of someone watching you from a distance. You turn around and look down an alleyway, and at the moment you look down an alleyway, you see a man like move deeper into the alley.
I think I'd follow after him.
Yeah, so you follow the suspicious man. As you walk down the darkened alleyway, you see him turn around a corner. Do you continue to follow?
Yeah, I'd probably do like the stop at the corner check, like if he's, and like keep going like that.
Yeah, you see him like knock on a door, like sort of thing. And then like a slide, like you hear something open, and then whispered breath, something is said. And then the slide shuts, and then the man continues down the alleyway.
I think I just watched to see where he goes. Like, is it just like an alleyway and he turns at the end, or is there an end?
Yeah, he turns down another alleyway, which is a bit further down than the door he knocked on.
I think I continue down, and then when I get to the door, like, be as quiet as I can, kind of thing.
Yeah. So all right. So you want to enter a sneak?
Basically, yeah.
Do you have any skills for sneaking?
I have a lot of perception and investigation, so I could be like looking for stuff that would make noise and avoiding those.
Ah, man, if only it worked that way. No, this will be a dexterity roll with -2 modifier on it if you don't have stealth.
Okay. Well,
Okay, difficulty 6.
oh shit. Time to fail and make shit interesting.
Okay. So yeah, remember like you double your attribute score when you roll them. So, um, okay. So yeah, 3 successes. Yeah. Well, the door doesn't open, and no one accosts you as you get closer to the alleyway that the man walked down.
And I'll just keep on my merry way then.
Yeah. You peer around the corner to watch him, and this time he opens the door and heads inside.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna rush up to the door as quick as I can.
Okay.
Maybe listen to the other side first.
Are you foregoing stealth to make that happen?
If I have to.
I mean, you either go stealthily or you go up there quickly.
Like I have a move of 5.
Yeah.
So if I'm stealth, is there a mechanical like halving that happens or what?
No, there's nothing mechanical. But you are going against what stealth is in nature.
Okay. Well, for the time being, I guess I'll keep stealth.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So you make your way up to the door.
Mm-hmm.
It appears to be an old door. There's no slide or open or anything like that like you saw in the other door, but it is just an old wooden door.
I'm gonna listen on this side to see if there's anything like if the guy obviously knows that I'm following him if he looked at me first.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Because a perception would be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll make a straight perception check. The difficulty here will be a 7. I mean, you're trying to hear through a door, so, and you're not entirely sure what you're listening for, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
5.
Yeah. You do hear movement on the inside. There's no voices or nothing like that. You hear the sound
Just
of like a drawer opening or a cabinet opening or something like that and being closed. You hear the sound of metal on metal. But yeah, that's about it.
Can I open the door a little bit and peer in?
Sure.
Or is it like...
Yeah, you can open the door. It opens outwardly, so...
Okay, well, like, I'll go over to the outwards, like, where the door goes outward and, like, grab the handle or whatever there is to open the door and just, like, open enough to peer in.
Mm-hmm. You peer in. It's
Is it just, like, stone wall?
It's dark. Yeah, no. Yeah. It's a wall on the other side of the door. No, it's dark. It's a hallway. It looks like the interior of a house. The staircase in front of you to the side. Like a hallway that expands outwardly, and there's a staircase going up to a second level. But yeah, it's not illuminated too well.
Fuck it. I'm just gonna open the door fully and knock on the inside. Like, have the door open, be standing in the doorway and, like, knock on the door to try and get the attention of whoever's in the room.
Yeah, you don't really hear anything moving, which is odd, considering that you just heard movement on the inside.
I'll make sure my Derringer is in a place that I can reach for it and
My man. All right.
sneak in.
Yeah, you start to sneak in. You're still within your stealth defense, so we'll go with that. You sneak in. Do you close the door behind you?
Lightly, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you make your way in. You go upstairs, downstairs.
I guess up.
Up, yeah. You try to avoid creaking on the stairs as much as possible. It is an old place, right? So you walk on the outside of the staircase, as your stealth instructor taught you.
There's been long nights of sneaking out of dorm, and
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah. And yeah, you go upstairs. There's a couple of rooms up there. And that's when you hear downstairs movement and stuff like that. So
there's movement downstairs now.
yeah.
I was go to the end of the hallway and does this look like this is obviously like a housing quarter?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'll go to the end of the hallway and see if it where it wraps around, if this is a way into the temple, or if this is just
No, this is just a home mostly. So, so yeah, while you're up the top of the stairs, as you sneak down the hallway, you hear the man that was down that you followed go back to the door, and he posts himself up at the other side of the door, and pulls out a pistol and just sort of waits a little bit, and then he says under his breath, is in Arabic. Do you speak Arabic?
I don't think that's one of the language. Nope.
Okay. He says something in Arabic, and he looks sort of trying to look out the door a little bit, or waiting for the door to open. It seems he's posted himself up behind where the door would open, sort of thing. How people do that. He's waiting for someone to come through the door so he can ambush them, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a Luger in his hand. So yeah.
A Luger.
Mm-hmm.
Is that? Would I
Fucking Nazis.
know if that's common for here? Because the only Lugers I've seen is within the hands of Nazis.
I mean, it's a German pistol, right? So you can take from that what you like.
Shit.
And with that, we slide back to our other group members. What's everyone else doing at this point? I guess we'll go to Charles, and so you two are probably sitting down laughing over a bottle of brandy or something like that.
Yes.
And he's like, and then I simply told her that I was married.
That's good. That's good.
Yes. Hmm.
So, to business.
Right. Business, yes. The king sent you. I don't know what the king would want with such a peaceful land as this.
Well, you seem to have been through your fair share of native problems, it seems.
Yes, the Aborigines here are far worse than I've experienced in other countries.
Yes, well, I've seen worse. I've seen worse, but
Yes,
they do seem rather agitated.
Yes, agitated is the word. Do you believe that they've put up a rebellion of all things? It's distasteful.
No. Well, the reason we're here is well, Jerry's got a little bit of a bee in its bonnet, and is
Are we still fighting the Jerrys?
Well, we're not. Well, you know politics. 1 minute you're friends with a country, the next second you're charging hundreds of men to their death.
I mean, didn't we thoroughly thrash them the first time around? Why would they be wanting a second helping?
Well, their intelligence suggests that they're out researching and searching for artifacts, and who knows whether these things will work.
He's taking a sip, and he spits back into his glasses what kind of mumbo jumbo are those Jerrys up to now?
I don't know. It's all very silly, but the king has decided that that we should try our best to thwart their efforts, just in case they're successful. So he sent us down this way. We've got a few.
Well, I mean, you're in the wrong country for Jerry hunting, my friend.
Not
They're mostly brown around here, not white at all.
Yeah, absolutely. But we did run into some Jerrys out in the desert. They ambushed one of the trains.
Are you Are you serious right now?
I'm always serious, old chap.
Like in full regalia and everything?
Oh, full, yes. No, we killed them all.
Bloody oath.
Right?
Quite serious then.
You know, they're very hush hush. They're keeping it stealth at the moment. But
Should we be on the lookout for German soldiers then?
that wouldn't be a terrible idea.
Anyone looking Aryan we should interview, yes?
I definitely say it's a worthwhile precaution. Definitely.
Bloody blue eyes?
Right?
Yes. Well, thank you for the warning. I'm glad the king has managed to pass on the information out to us all the way out here, and bloody.
Oh, no. Yeah, as I said, old chap. Any assistance we can lend you. I am going to have to ask for a favor as well, if that's all right, old boy.
If it's within my power, potentially I can help.
We just need unrestricted access to temples, holy places, things like that, within the city, of course.
That is going to be a bit of a problem. You see, part of our agreement with the natives here, not so much the Aborigines, but the Jewish folk, is that we stay out, they stay out, and that's the only way that we were able to calm their. They had a council, can you believe? Diplomacy, my good sir. We can't simply open the gates and let you in. And
Well, balderdash, old man, sneak us in.
I haven't even been in there myself. It's quite a wall around that place.
Well, it's very important that we get into these places. Any ideas?
Well, we could just enter, especially if it's under the king's command. Boulder dash to the council of, the locals here. If the king says it's needed, we'll storm the castle.
Well, jolly good. Bugger it. Let's do that.
Yes, I can't see anything wrong with doing that whatsoever.
Wonderful.
And now we're up to the point where, Solomon, you've finished surgery on the 4 people. Mostly the first 2 were like the most serious, obviously. And these ones are mostly just, internal bleeding and stuff like that. So nothing you couldn't handle. You're muted. You're muted.
Great, Graham, you're muted.
You're muted. You're muted.
I imagine watching you work is something of a treat. Like in some of the finer hibachi steakhouse restaurants, people are around watching me do what I do.
I imagine the nurse is a little bit taken aback by you.
Oh yes, they're very impressive. When I get to the guy, the 4th guy before where Gideon is, right there. Well, first I'll look to Gideon and I'll just tell him to rub some dirt on it and get out. But then I'll look at this guy, and I have all these style points that I want to use right now.
All right. Yeah.
I want to use one of them anyway, because I'm going to take my I've got my meat cleaver, right? I've got all my tools. And I'm just gonna take my meat cleaver and I'm gonna bifurcate the 4th guy's head almost clean in half.
Oh, you're going to replace his burnt skin?
No. So I basically kill this guy like dead center, and then because I use my style point, he was a Nazi spy the whole time, and everybody claps.
Way! Good show, old chap.
How many style points do you have?
I have 4.
Okay, murdering a British soldier.
He's wearing standard issue Nazi lingerie underneath.
Well, they've got the tattoos, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're stripping him to fix him up, and you see the sort of dagger poking through.
Right, he's a Nazi spy. But I saw it first and I killed him, and everybody's hooray! Everybody claps.
I'm not. I mean, okay, I would be. That's a bitter pill to swallow. Damn. I mean, he's not. So what is your intent here? What are you trying to get from it? You
Well,
sort
he
of-
is. My style point says it is. You told me that I can literally conjure things into existence with my style points.
Yeah, but, okay.
I got a chair for 1 style point. You're not getting a dead Nazi for 4. It's got to be more, man.
No, okay, all right, okay. So the Nazis haven't infiltrated this place. So, all right. Here's what
Fine.
I'll allow. Right.
Keep my style point. I'll keep my style point. I'll perform boring surgery on this last
No. I
Everybody
did say
clap.
that was an important part of this game, right? So, yes, you can kill this man. You can. He can have the Thule Society emblem tattooed onto his chest, but he is far from Aryan, and he is not associated.
Is he in blackface?
No, he's not. He's not specifically associated with the Nazis. The Thule Society isn't just Nazis. It's a large part of it, but it's not just Nazis. So you can have found a Thule Society member and killed them, but then you can say that they were in fact Nazi supporters.
I'd rather keep my style point. Forget it.
Okay. All right then. So I mean, it's not a stretch to assume that Thule Society members have infiltrated
It's fine.
all aspects of life. So yes.
Fine.
Gideon says, before I go, Doctor, you look very happy here treating the symptom, but I rather thought you were a man who is looking to address root causes. And he
Yeah,
kind
well,
of
as you can see, we're done here. We're time to go. No. Oh, I'm sorry. time to go.
Okay.
Job done.
Pat your own shoulder with your one hand. Yeah.
So I hope that we can go start looking for some of the others. Like Charles, I imagine his voice carries, but I'm wondering like where Hyde is.
Yeah, you
where...
can still hear him laughing from the other tent, right? Like, and then you hear like a very, very low, "Yes, sir, that was funny," like from Woodbury.
You can almost hear like the low tuba music and like the brass behind his laugh. So
And then-
fucking British.
And then I had him whipped.
So I guess me and Gideon are looking around. I have an incredible perception. Can I try and track down the rest of the party?
I mean, what's Hyde doing?
That's a very good question.
I think you probably wouldn't have much trouble spotting Hyde.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So he probably. So when we first split off, Francis went off on his adventure, and I probably was following just because I was following people. We were moving until he reached the first gate, and he stopped to look at it, and then Hyde kept walking. He didn't stop, and then he eventually realized that this big wall was in the way of him going. So he climbed it.
All right.
And
did you do this?
I'm willing to.
Did you do this in front?
I'm willing to spend style points if I have to get over the wall. But seeing
I mean,
as
this is a simple.
Charles
athletics
has kind of secured our
Yeah,
passage
this-
over the wall, I'm okay with just climbing it now.
So this is this. Are you doing this in front of the way like the Jewish quarter? Like,
I think he's kind of wandered a bit. Probably still within the Jewish quarter, yeah.
okay, so the moment you start to climb this wall is the moment that the Jews start throwing rocks at you.
That's okay.
Yeah, I just want to point that out. Like, they're going to be throwing rocks at you. So to make this athletics climb, we'll give you. Well, this will be a 7. Not too hard, but they are pelting rocks at you while you're climbing. So that's the only instance of you making it difficult here. They're saying stuff in. God, this is going to sound really ignorant of me,
Yiddish.
but I can't remember what
Hebrew.
Hebrew. Thank you. Yes. Do you speak Hebrew?
I speak English. That's it.
Okay. Well, then you don't understand what they're saying, but it sounds threatening.
I mean, they're throwing rocks at me. I think that's...
Yeah. Yeah.
You can probably extrapolate their intentions from that.
You speak rock.
It's the rocks of encouragement.
Yeah.
So I don't have athletics, so that would be, is it Dex or Strength?
Athletics is strength with a -2. Really? You don't have athletics? I thought you'd be the one person in the party that would.
He doesn't chase things.
Are you
Stalks.
kidding me? Oh, you stalk them. Okay, yeah. Ooh, okay, perfect, yeah. So, maybe you get hit with a couple of rocks and maybe you flip them off when you flip over the other side or something like that. I don't know. Like, what?
No, he's not really paying attention to the people. He wants to keep moving. He doesn't want all this standing still we did for that 30 seconds talking to that officer was just not good. He wanted to keep going.
Okay. And with that, you land on the other side. Dust kicks up from you landing. And, we see like a, essentially what can only be described as like men appearing from the ether on the other side of the wall.
Like, we step out of the shadows sort of thing, or they're just like materialized.
Like they're sort of like, it's kind of like, imagine there was a waterfall there, but it was made out of stone, and they just sort of walked out of it.
What?
Yeah.
Remember
From
the marching,
like
the
the wall behind me. Is that what
Liquid-
you're saying? Like
no,
I jump down
so-
and then they walk
you-
out behind me, or they're in front.
They're in front. Like, they haven't noticed
Okay.
you. But it's very odd. Like, the wall sort of turns to liquid and starts to run. Kind of like an ink painting almost, right? And they
Okay.
just sort of, like, emerge out of it. Sort of thing.
And these men appear to be of
They look like Nazis.
okay. I was just confirming. So, like a battalion of Nazis are marching out of this wall.
Well, a lot of them, yes. They're in 2x2, and they probably get, like, if you watch them, they probably get close to around maybe 40 individuals.
That's a lot of Nazis. I'm gonna keep walking.
Okay. Oh, well,
And, but they haven't noticed me, and I'm not gonna stay and hide.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
moving. So I'm gonna try and go somewhere that I can't see them and can continue moving.
well, the temple mount is pretty big, but I think with that revelation, I think that's where we'll end this episode.
So yeah, I jump over the wall. The Nazis are coming out, and I just kind of shrug and walk off.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Fade to black.
Yeah. So, we get a post-credit scene of maybe like Francis sitting in the room, just sort of peering over the thing, and the guy's sort of like looking, waiting for, I guess, an ambush to happen. You're just like, fuck. Yeah. Cool. And yeah, we'll come back next time with the beginning of Solomon and Gideon trying to find their party members, I guess, for the most part. So let's call it a show and do some shout outs. Drummer Boy, let's start with you, my man. What's
Not
up?
XP.
Yeah.
Oh, XP, sorry. Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. XP 118. Okay. I actually wrote down what page it was. All right. So, experience point for being part of the session. Everyone takes 1. Danger. I don't really think there was any danger this episode, per se.
Francis kind of.
Yeah, but not really.
It's not express danger. It's potential
Yeah.
danger.
It's potential
Fair
danger. Yeah. Role playing. Yeah, I think everyone can take some. Like the whole ring scene of you guys like putting the ring on and stuff. Actually, I'll give everyone 2 for that. So take an extra 1. Success when they further the plot. Yep, everyone takes some experience points. And characters gain 1 experience point when they learn something critically important. I think everyone could take 1 for that.
Cool.
1 definitely
As a party.
as a party. Yes.
Oh, no, I learned about the egg. There you go.
-1 experience.
How much experience did you get? 6 minus 6 experience. Yeah, awesome. So let's do some shout outs. Drummer Boy, let's start with you, my man.
Hey, I'm Drummer Boy. I make music and sound effects now on the internet. If you want to see me make music, I'm going to be starting my low fantasy Witcher-esque Slavic Celtic song tomorrow morning on my stream at 10:30. And yeah, I'm going to be using a bunch of instruments that I actually haven't used very much before because most of my stuff has been big and epic, not so much low. But I've got this this thing called Medieval Legends Era 2. It's a full library of like instruments from the like medieval times, basically. So like hurdy-gurdies, tons of flutes, something called a viola da gamba, which is like the great grandparent of a cello. It sounds super weird and just kind of bad, but good in a weird way. I don't know. Yeah, and then I'm going to be making more sounds for Twitch Temple, which is a kind of Twitch alert graphics and sound resource for people that can't pay someone to do that for them.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I just used memes for my sound effects.
a lot of people do, but if you want to be like, hey, there's just cool. If you're playing like a sci-fi game and you want some sci-fi alerts rather than like having to commission someone or do it yourself, there's like a package for $10 you can just buy and use for that one game and then go back to your memes.
Interesting. Go back to your memes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Speaking about memes, let's go to Sheepdog Gaming. What up, sir? How you doing?
Hey, I'm Sheepdog Gaming on YouTube. Search me, you can find me. Really need to pee. Also, I hate to do this, but don't we get style points at the end as well, or is that just me?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
We could do it. We could do it at the beginning of next time. But,
No, we'll give out some star points. All right. So, did anyone feel like they fell into their archetype or motivation? I feel like I want to give some points to Francis for his motivation, at least. Anyway, I feel like you sort of used your background a lot. I also want to give some to Gideon as well for his motivation. Did anyone else feel like they jumped in wholeheartedly with that? So what is your motivation, Sheepy?
Duty to king and country.
I'd say that you abused your role more than you did your duty to king and country this episode. You basically commissioned the British forces to break a diplomatic treaty they have with the locals to break into their holiest of holy place.
For king and country.
I feel like the king would actually be disappointed to hear that this happened.
You don't know the king, you don't know that.
You don't know that I don't know the king.
What about your archetype? What's your archetype there?
Absent-minded.
You have an archetype of absent-minded, and your floor is absent-minded.
Oh, well? sorry, no. My archetype is soldier.
Okay. I'll give you one for your soldier archetype, but I won't give you one for your fucking duty. Jesus.
I mean,
all right. Solomon, what about you? What have you got?
I mean, my archetype is medic.
Yep, I'd feel like you fell into that pretty easily. What about your motivation?
Truth. I don't know.
I mean, you did learn about specifically the healing factor within Hollow Earth a lot this episode, so that came up an awful lot. I don't know whether you forwarded the motivation for that. Probably not so much.
What's his flaw though?
Being one-armed.
He has one arm.
Yeah, I mean, like.
So realistically, the flaws only come into play when it causes you grief. Like for example, that's kind of the inherent property of a flaw. Like you don't get points for being like, oh, look how cool I am with one arm. It's more like when you have to like operate heavy machinery and you only have one arm. Like if it causes you problems, then that's when you get style points.
Gotcha. Okay, so we haven't had that happen yet because he's so competent with one arm.
Exactly right. So it's the lack of competency that would give him style points. Kind of like how when Sheepdog put on the ring, I didn't even let him make a roll because he's absent-minded and it just affected him.
Lack of competency.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like how like you're lying. Like for example, if you wanted to play up style points, even if you were in disguise, if someone questioned you, you could just be like, okay, instead of lying and playing with the character, I could just outright make a problem for the party by telling the truth here and get style points. So it's kind of like that. I'm never going to be like I'm forcing you to do this, you could always be like, I don't want the style points. I'm just going to be the way that I want to be. So, yeah, I can buy off your floor, basically, is how that works. What about Hyde? What's his?
So I'm big game hunter is my archetype. So no. And condescending, I didn't really have anything. I wasn't really interacting with anyone. I was kind of moving. I was more interested in moving than talking.
Yeah.
Talking would require standing still.
You got a little bit roofied by a ring, and then just kind of
it's not
got
going great.
dazed
That
and
willpower
wanted
roll was fucking horrible.
Yeah. What about Jackson? What's your archetype? Yours is scholar, yeah?
Archetype, academic historian, and motivation is revenge.
Okay, I'll give you one for the archetype as well.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, did I miss anyone there? What about Gideon? Did we do you there?
You did. You gave me one for just sort of pursuing my motivation, which I think is fair. This wasn't really a Gideon focused episode. This was like the Jackson episode. It was cool.
What's your archetype?
Archetype is occultist, motivated by truth.
That kind of came in with your ring scene, I think.
I think the fact that you occultist within the society was enough. So I'll give you another one for that if you want. Yeah.
Sweet. Like it.
All right. Okay. So who are we up to with the shout outs? I think Sheepdog, we just finished you. So
We just finished me. Yeah.
all right. Jordan, let's null speak. What up? Where can people find you?
Yeah.
All that stuff.
You can find me on Twitter at nullspeak. Main thing right now is I consulted on South Park: The Fractured Butthole, and that comes out on October 17th. So check that out if South Park is your jam. And other than that, there'll probably be another episode.
I got a question regarding that. What information did you grace them with in order to make the game? Because if it's anything like the first one, I'm really interested in what information you gave them.
Oh, it was a lot of stuff. The biggest one was finding ways to kind of poke fun at superheroes through mechanics. But the thing that I'm proudest of from the first game was that I got them to include a whole series of audio logs mocking audio logs. Like by the last one, the guys.
That was the only part of that game that I really enjoyed.
Yes, well, certainly, like when it comes to video game specific kind of humor, that's kind of where I contribute. They are naturally very funny, but this time around the combat is a lot more deep and interesting, and it actually has it's kind of like it's a little bit like XCOM or Divinity. Like there's actually a grid that matters. And
Mega Man X. No, Mega Man. No, what was it? Mega Man, the one where he goes the RPG.
Battle Network.
Battle Network. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Yeah. Battle Network.
Crossed with like Darkest Dungeon or something. It has lanes and stuff. It's a very unique kind of thing. Very significantly different than the last game, which was kind of like a JRPG where everybody just kind of an old JRPG where everybody just kind of lined up. Anyway, not to go on, but yeah, that's my big thing coming out right now.
Awesome. Doc Gast.
Yo, what you doing? You can find me at DocGast on Twitter. I post bullshit. Don't waste your time. You can also find me here for Surge. Surge?
Yeah.
Surge. Die Party Surge. The
Shadowrun
Anarchy experience.
Yeah. That's going to be good. Like, we fixed a lot of the rules in there, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I don't know if good's the word to describe what's going to happen in that game.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be an experience.
Yes, definitely an experience.
Yeah. One of our characters has decided that he wants to go full hog into the sideshow aspect of his character. So, like, lighting his vomit on fire was something he said he wanted to do. So, like, drink absinthe and then vomit and then light it on fire as like napalm, and I'm like, fuck it, man. All right,
just like
whatever.
Super high proof alcohol Jello.
I think he said Everclear was what he was going to use.
Oh my god,
Everclear, and then you take a shot at Ipecac so that you can throw it all up at once, and it's like a fireball.
Get like the computer cleaning alcohol, like the isopropyl 99%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that Shadowrun game is interesting because there's actually a mechanic in there for building your own like abilities, right? So I had to build a vomit fireball. That was interesting. So that's gonna the first actual play of that's gonna be good. Yeah, I'm really excited for that because I love doing the cyberpunk stuff, and that game is like light enough to like where you can just say fuck it and do whatever you want. So
Yeah,
I'm excited for
which
it.
is like the polar opposite to base Shadowrun, where
Yeah.
literally everything has a rule. They've just gone, you know what? You know what people really don't like about this system? All the rules. Let's throw those out and just keep the setting.
Yeah, as a GM for that game, it would be like, actually, like literally every single time someone wants to do something cool. So now we don't have
Yeah.
to worry about that. So, I mean, there's still a lot of fucking rules in that game, right? There's a lot of mechanics as to like what people roll in defense for you doing things and all that sort of shit. But it's
Yeah,
rules
there's-
light enough where you can just kind of like hand wave most of it. which
There's a
is-
handful of things where they're quite straightforward, like this is the rule for this, and it goes like this. And then everything else, they've just gone, you can make this up. We don't like as long as you fit all of the rest of the game into this little rule set that we've created, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
which we're doing. So
Yeah.
which we.
I
are
mean, we've got
definitely
a dude that vomits fireballs, so
doing.
yeah,
Yep. But yeah,
it's
like
a horrible experience.
So we fixed up. Well, don't say that. It's gonna be a great experience. It's gonna be like Sheepy's games. You know, like yeah. Anyway,
What does
Horrible
that mean?
experiences.
no, just sort of like a good time. You know, that's how I'm imagining it's gonna be. So, it's like every Tom Cruise movie. Not really. Last but not least, we have Mr. Graham Complete. What up, sir? How you doing? Where can people find your stuff?
I make stuff. YouTube channel, always be making 3 words. Yeah, I'm building a treadle lathe.
I'm sorry. A what?
A treadle lathe. It's basically a pedal. The pedal turns a big wheel. The big wheel turns a little wheel, and you put a piece of wood on the little wheel, and it spins, and you can make it round.
They're
Oh,
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah. Nice. Shit. Do you use like power tools to make that, and then you use your treadle wheel to like, what, make other things in a more traditional way? Like, how does that work exactly?
It's just it's a lot cheaper than buying a lathe, like a precision power lathe. It's just that's a lot cheaper, and I really just need to turn wood. I mean,
A
obviously,
lot of people use a springboard lathe to make the treadle lathe. Like they build a lathe out of a bit of flexible wood with some string, and you like pull the string up and down so that the wood moves up and down and spins the wheel. And you use that to make the basic parts to make your basic treadle lathe. And then you use the basic treadle lathe to improve on the parts, and you just keep building on it until eventually you've got a wooden engine.
That's fucking awesome, actually.
yeah.
And
So
it's a lot of fun.
like I mean, theoretically, the ultimate goal is to have a 10-ton, $15,000 metalworking lathe. But yeah, it's incremental steps.
Nice. And are you documenting all this and making a thing?
Yep.
I like it as a BJ Blazkowicz actual emote. It's so appropriate for this game. It's crazy. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed tonight's episode of Die Party Hollow Earth. Die Party Abyss, a Hollow Earth expedition game. We're gonna be getting into the thick of the Nazi juice that is this game pretty soon. And it's going to be a hell of a ride. But if you haven't already done so, guys, and you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider following the channel. And if you're feeling saucy, why not subscribe? Get access to the cockpit and the best emotes on Twitch along with it. So this week things are a little haywire because family is in town and all that sort of stuff. But tomorrow at 3 p.m. PST, we are going to be having Die Party LA Confidential, which is the sort of plot wrap up of like all the political parties in Vampire the Masquerade within LA at the time. So that's going to be an interesting experience. It's probably only going to be like a couple of hours long, but essentially it's LA at night exposition, the show.
So that's going to be tomorrow, and then on Thursday, as mentioned, we have a Die Party Surge, the first actual play episode. No board games this week because Wedding Eve, so can't really do it then. But yeah, that's pretty much my entire week in a nutshell. There's no Embers this week either because people are going to be on a fucking plane. God, I tell you what, like people who like there's a group of like sort of semi-small to medium Twitch users who go to every single con, like literally every con they can ever go to. And I like it's like a life of like con goers. So it's an interesting. I personally hate going to cons, but maybe I haven't been to. I've only ever worked them, so I wouldn't know. But yeah. Anyways, guys, check out the schedule for more information if you're confused about what I just said, because it's all written out there and nice, easy to understand stuff. But other than that, that's pretty much a show. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week for more. We're good for next week, everyone. Yeah, no problems. Yeah, cool. All right, good. We'll see you next week then for more Abyss. Good night.